Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network, powered by our friends at Better this evening on what we are calling a Wired Wednesday. It is indeed a loaded show, and normally, ladies and gentlemen, I like to start with a word of the day. Today, no word of the day. Today, we have a figure of the day. That figure of the day, Nostradamus. My definition of one individual, Nostradamus, a historic figure born in France, most known for his prophecies. Did you know that in 1555, boys, he released his book titled Centuries? All right, Centuries. Did you know that in this book, he wrote his prophecies in a little poem or a poetic device known as a quatrain? A quatrain, what I would like to define simply as 4 bars. Just 4 bars right on top of you. That is a quatrain. That is how my man Nostradamus wrote his prophecies. He wrote these in sets of 100. 100 quatrains being 400 bars. 400 bars written in this book called Centuries, which at this point in my historical, context or historical dive into my man Nostradamus, at this point I'm wondering, did Nostradamus have the first ever mixtape? Because my man was dropping bars, like 100 of them in a row, 400 of them actually, to be honest with you. Obviously known most famously for his predictions. He predicted the death of Henry II. He predicted the French Revolution. He predicted the rise of Napoleon, and this is the most gangster way of doing so. He predicted 150 years before a man named Napoleon and named him through an anagram. Okay, used his birthplace and an anagram to name Napoleon and say what Napoleon was going to do. Insane. Not only did he do that, he predicted Hitler. He called out where Hitler was going to come. Yeah, he called out Hitler where Hitler was going to come by place of birth, to almost to the town.
Wait, really?
Dead ass. Nostradamus was him. Nostradamus was him. Obviously, most people in our age knew that Nostradamus was out here predicting 9/11. Now, the only thing about the prediction of 9/11 is he kind of thought the towers were going to fall and collapse horizontally. He mentioned a 45-degree, kind of angle. They collapse on within themselves, but nonetheless, knew that in the new city, the skies would burn on a certain day at some point in the future. At this point in my research of Nostradamus and all these predictions, all these magical predictions, I'm sitting here wondering, bro, was Nostradamus sent from the Lord to forewarn some people? Because 1,500 years in, you think the big man upstairs was like, hey, I done sent Jesus. Jesus couldn't save him. It's 15 years post Jesus and they still couldn't get it right. So maybe I need to send this covert op to just be like, hey, guys, stay clear of these individuals. They're bad. That's what I was thinking at some point.
Well, they failed miserably then.
Absolutely. That's what I'm thinking of the men in the 1600s. I'm thinking, guys, after 5 or 6 of these prophecies was out here hitting, you be like, hey, bro, somebody figure out what old Nostra out here talking about, because he's kind of on it right now. We need to start avoiding certain things that he's out here calling.
I think that's how history books need to be written. It's exactly how you just described all of that. That's how history books need to be written. Nostradamus predicted the birthplace of Hitler. Dead ass. He was spitting bars.
Down to the town.
Was Austria even a country then?
No, that's what's crazy.
Did he say he was going to be from Austria?
It was the exact terminology was a Western world, Western Germany is basically what he called out.
All right.
So, yeah. Nostradamus was out here with some crazy ass predictions. I hope we are Nostradamus-like in our predictions today. I will say this: men in the 1600s, no head on a swivel, none. Wasn't out here looking for it. They could have found it, I would imagine, because these 450 years out predictions, you would have thought man's a little crazy, right? I mean, not quite with the Hitler thing and the 9/11 thing, but the Napoleon thing, they should have been on game that Nostradamus at this point had been hitting, because he predicted the King Henry thing, and then Napoleon starts sneaking up in the ranks. They should have been like, hey, our boy Nostradamus is like 5 for 5 right now. And this Napoleon guy kind of fits the description. He kind of fits the bill. You'd think they'd have had a head on a swivel a little bit.
So he made the first mixtape and hit the first ever parlay.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Definitely was out here hitting parlays. Was hitting a lick. It was a 400 quatrain parlay.
There's
and it was a lick.
History teacher that's watching this right now that just threw his phone across the room because of what we were talking about right now.
And you know what? I bet their students would understand this better listening to this than anything else.
Probably, yeah.
I got a top 5 Nostradamus facts.
Let's hear these. I would love to learn more about Nostradamus.
Give me the OLI.
Oh, well, you knew there was an OLI. There was 100% an OLI here on this Wired Wednesday. OLI on my top 5 Nostradamus facts. He received his prophecies, obviously, while tripping balls. 100% while tripping. Apparently had this bowl of black water that he would stare into for hours while receiving his prophecies.
Black water?
Yeah. He had a bowl of water and was famous for using incense, if you know what I mean. He was tripping balls. Ain't no doubt about it. Top 5. Number 5, he may or may not have been a plagiarist. There's some claims that he might have claimed or pawned off some biblical prophecies. So there was some claims of that. Number 4, he was, of course, a healer in his times. My daddy would have called one of these folks a hippie doctor. You know, one of these folks that says they can clean you by like bloodletting or like smacking you with leaves or doing whatever.
That's how George Washington died, actually.
Yeah, so getting smacked with leaves?
Bloodletting.
Oh, it's an interesting way to die. Had horse teeth. Number 3, he wrote a code, or he wrote in code the quatrains. The reason Nostradamus wrote in code was because he was afraid that people would murder him or kill him in the town square and claim that he was a witch. Odd time in our development as humans where if anybody were any kind of smart or doing anything type of new, you had to accuse them of being a witch and then therefore murdering them.
In the name of the Lord.
Absolutely. Reason number 2, top 5 Nostradamus facts. This one necessarily isn't Nostradamus related, but Hitler, once he figured out the prophecies of Nostradamus, Hitler printed out the prophecies and the quatrains and flew them all over France and dropped them into towns of this Frenchman predicting this West German taking over the world. Pretty diabolical
kind of
shit.
Ballsy.
Yeah, pretty diabolical shit. Rule number 1, or fact number 1, he predicted the world would end in 1999, so he's kind of full of shit and doesn't know what he's talking about.
Oh, wow. Y2K would have been crazy, though.
Y2K would have been nuts. We wouldn't be here.
You lived through it.
I did. I was like 6. I do remember that New Year's Eve party being a little bit extra lit. Like people were drinking for the end of the world. I was obviously a young child.
Yeah.
6 or 7. Should we talk football now? Welcome into a loaded show. We have an absolute loaded show. Why are we talking about Nostradamus? Because it is predictions night. We will be hammering out predictions and doing it in a most Nostradamus-like way. Okay, we will be mapping it out for the 5 biggest football games that we are predicting tonight. Also have a fans OLI or fans top 5 that I want to get to you guys tonight. We'll be making picks. We'll be mapping it out. It is indeed a What If Wednesday. Chuck Martin making a push for Biff Poggi for being like the poster boy of mid-major football in the head coaching departments. We have what a bounce back might look like for Florida State, and we have, like I said, a fan-submitted top 5. So pretty good stuff right there. I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Better. They are sponsoring our show tonight, and if you're not already, please support those who support us. Okay, Better is now offering college football props. Enter more than or less than key stats on college football players. You can now play in 23 states in this beautiful country, including the fine state of Georgia. Better is matching first-time deposits up to $250 right now if you use code Brooks. Click the link in the description of this video to get that bonus play from those folks over there at Better. A great time to be in the prop game. I'm going to be laying down some prop plays for you guys or giving you indications of what I'm liking a little bit later on in the local hour. Really going to hammer those plays this year, film-based. Okay, I'm going to go into a game thinking how I think it's going to play out, players that I think are going to do well, and then we're going to see how that plays out in the actual football game. It will also tell us how quickly or how similarly I align with the coaching staff in terms of how I would attack the opponent or how the opponent is going to attack us, or me, I should say, as a coaching staff member, hypothetically there. So great time to be here. Great time to be over on Better. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, and rate and review in here on the channel. Okay, stats still tell us, data still tells us a lot of new folks coming into the channel. Okay, so if you're not subscribed already, please feel free to do so. We had a great week this week introducing ourselves, or reintroducing ourselves, I should say, to the Clemson fan base. We have been well received over there, and are excited to continue breaking down that football game as we near closer to Saturday's kickoff.
Suspiciously nice Clemson fans have been.
Yeah, I've always kind of said I think Clemson fans are kind of like the Canadian fan base of Southern football, oddly polite for an environment that you think would be filled with animosity. Right? We share a border with them Canadians, but I ain't never met a Canadian that isn't just uber polite. Just way over polite. Same thing for Clemson fans. I don't think I know a Clemson fan that's just like mean. You know?
Objection.
I can't think of one. I know a couple Clemson fans and
just good, wholesome people.
Rather nice people, yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Clemson fans. Appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review. I think we should start before we get into our map it out and prediction segments. I do want to promote this, okay? Because I think this can be our thing. You know, everybody's got a thing. Every show has a thing. I like the idea of my mentions being inundated with top fives with very unique themes. Like, for example, my man Andy Kicklighter over on Twitter. Okay, Andy Kicklighter, also a musician. If you want to check out his music on Spotify, not a free plug, but a free plug. Go check out Andy Kicklighter's music on Spotify. Sent me a top 5 list. This top 5 list theme: things I would rather be than a Florida State fan.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, with an OLI. Top 5 with an OLI. My man Kicklighter, he's got me. He knows how to get me here. OLI, top 5 reasons top 5 things I'd rather be than an FSU fan. OLI number 1, a janitor at a sperm bank. Oh.
Yeah, it's a pretty sticky situation.
Kirby, you'll like this one, my car fanatic. Things I'd rather be other than a Florida State fan. A 20-year-old female's engine oil filter.
Never changed.
Doesn't know it exists.
Does not know it exists.
No, never seen it.
Yeah, that's sad.
All right, officially into the top 5. Now here's where we get the comedic. UGA's team lawyer.
He's probably raking it in though.
Probably raking it in, but ultra busy. Things I'd rather be other than a Florida State fan. A player in the portal just dying to play for Clemson.
Please let me in.
Please, Dabo. I'm the guy. Please, I swear. Good culture. I'm the guy. Things I'd rather be other than a Florida State fan. Number 3. It's a jab at both schools. Miami's ticket salesman.
I would imagine that's a pretty easy job. You just have to sit on your ass.
Yeah, but you're not selling tickets, and your job's to sell tickets. Top 5 things I'd rather be other than a Florida State fan. Number 2, a Texas A&M student at midnight yell.
Wow. Now we're really getting into
that's an outsider's perspective, because Texas A&M fans would love to be at midnight yell.
Absolutely. Things I'd rather be other than a Florida State fan. Number 1, a CBS reporter covering Deion Sanders.
Yeah, do they even get to cover Deion Sanders?
Not really. That's a solid top 5 with an OLI from my man Andy Kicklighter. If you want to send the show some OLIs, just hit me up at Brooks Austin BA. Make sure they're fun. Don't give me top 5 reasons Georgia beats Clemson this week. I can save that for later. Let's map it out. It's time. 13 minutes into the show. Let's do some predictions. Starting with perhaps the game of the evening, Thursday night. You can dual cast this while you're watching the Film Guy Network. Tomorrow we will be live at 8 o'clock, but in your simulcast on your secondary screen while you're listening to us break down college football, you could be watching Colorado and North Dakota State. Who wants to start this out, boys? Here's how we're going to do this, guys. We're going to map this out. We're going to tell you how we think this game is going to lay out. We're going to save our predictions for a quick little rundown together at the end, okay?
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'll start. Here's how the game is going to work out Saturday or Thursday evening in this football game. Here's the deal. North Dakota State last year had 7 players rush for more than 300 yards on the season. What does that indicate to me? A very diverse run scheme, okay? You're not only going to see a lot of running plays, you're going to see a very different attack, okay? They're going to hit you in a lot of different ways with a lot of different faces and a lot of different styles of run. What is that going to require? That's going to require a really, really good defensive game plan and defensive preparation period during this fall camp for Colorado. I'm not saying they can do that. I'm saying, hey, it's just as big of a game for the defensive staff for Colorado as it is for for the defensive football players on the field for the Colorado Buffaloes. Okay, I see North Dakota State having plenty of explosive runs in this football game and otherwise shortening it. Okay, when I'm not ripping off 25-yard gains, and even when I do, I need to be squatting on the ball. I need to be shortening the possessions of this football game because I don't know how successfully I'm going to be able to limit Colorado's explosives on the defensive side of the football. As bad as everyone wants to think Colorado's offensive line is, I don't expect North Dakota State being the team to be able to get after this quarterback and this offensive line, okay? I think of a lot of things at North Dakota State before I think of edge rushers or pass rushers, all right? I expect Colorado to be able to move the football explosively, particularly in the second and third and fourth quarters of this football game. I think they ultimately pull away late, but I do think that Colorado defensively has got to be prepared for the physicality that will be brought upon them by North Dakota State's line of scrimmage. I do think Colorado pulls away late in this football game. I'll give you my score prediction a little bit later.
Yeah, I kind of went similar to you. I think that North Dakota State is really going to try to take the air out of the ball simply because that's what they're good at, and it will keep Shedeur Sanders and the rest of the offensive firepower off the field. I think that you're going to have 2 or 3 drives from North Dakota State where it's like, man, that drive lasted 5 or 6 minutes. They just walked the ball down the field. They sat on it. They let the play clock go down to 7 seconds. They took their time, really tried to slow this game down. I think that Colorado's offensive line is going to be susceptible to 1 or 2 plays that is ultimately going to lead to a turnover. And I think North Dakota State's probably going to take advantage of that. So
I think that I agree that they're going to really try and kill the clock. The quarterback adds in on the run a lot too, and they have a returning starter in Cam Miller. I think he had over 500 yards rushing last season as well.
Correct.
And Colorado finished 110th in rushing defense last year. So I agree with the explosive runs. I think North Dakota State is going to be able to accomplish that in the first half. What I think is kind of the dying breath of them in this football game, though, is once Colorado is able to find a rhythm on offense and maybe they jump out by 1 or 2 scores, I don't see North Dakota State being able to come from behind. That is not a team that is able to have these comeback victories. So I think that's what cost them in the second half and why Colorado is still going to get the dub.
You know, apparently on the recruiting trail in the transfer market, Dion was selling to guys, we're going to be up in football games, so you're going to be able to get after the passer. I do realistically think this is a situation where defensively Colorado is going to have an opponent in North Dakota State doing what you're talking about, playing outside of their own brand of football at some point in this football game. All right, let's rattle it back around with predictions right here. I've got Colorado winning this football game 42-28.
give me North Dakota State 31-27. Off of like 13 points off turnovers.
Okay, so a couple of picks, maybe a fumble, maybe a strip sack fumble.
Yeah, maybe a bad pick
like
inside your own 25.
I like this prediction and the way it happens, turnovers and point creating turnovers.
Yes.
I went a little lower on my score prediction because I do think they're going to eat up so much clock. I went 34-20 Colorado.
34-20 Colorado. You got to, I think what is the line on this game?
The line is Colorado 9.5 last I checked.
Okay.
Over-unders in the like high 50s, I believe. So
I just don't know. I don't know much about North Dakota State's defensive backfield. I don't know how well they're going to hold up.
I do know they have a lot of upperclassmen. Every single starter on defense this year is either a junior or senior.
Okay. All right. I like that. I like that map it out segment and the predictions on both of them. Our next game on the slate. The Fighting Neil Browns. The Fighting Neil Browns. I see here comes the map it out. I see a really, really rattled Penn State offense and a Mountaineer defense that is full, and I mean full, of really, really scrappy vets. You know what I mean? Real punch in the mouth guys. Real, I ain't here to take your bullshit, not in my home type guys. All right? I'm talking about dudes that have been playing a lot of football and have seen a lot of stuff. I think they can hold up to Penn State's run game. And here's the other thing. Penn State plays two types of football games under James Franklin. A, they win in blowout fashion. They beat teams that they are significantly better than, and they walk away by multiple scores. Or two, they lose. I think this is the latter.
Okay. I think that this is going to be one of your typical just Big Ten style football games where there's not going to be a whole lot of action. I think this is going to be two offenses that are really struggling to get any type of rhythm going against the other defense. But
just a yuck fest.
Yeah, just one of these. And I think that's what West Virginia needs to keep this game close and to keep this game in their favor with it being at home. I think that's the best case scenario for them is to make it a yuck fest. But what I do see and what I am going to give the edge to Penn State ultimately in this one is that I think their defense is going to get a crucial stop in the second half. And I think that's what this game is going to boil down to. It's which defense can get the crucial stop and which offense can capitalize off of that stop. So I think Penn State is ultimately going to be able to do that over West Virginia.
Penn State very much strikes me as a team this year that watched what Michigan did in 2023 and said, holy shit, we can just lean on teams and win again. Let's go. And they're going to be a very bland version of the offense. I don't think James Franklin and that offensive staff trust Drew Allen to really air the ball out. And frankly, they believe that they can just lean on this West Virginia team and win the game. And I kind of see that's how it's going to play out. West Virginia is going to put up a fight, though. They're going to make this a game of people go like, hey, West Virginia really look respectful here. And it's also going to adversely be negative on Penn State, but I think Penn State's just going to lean on them. They have too many guys.
Wonder if I'm going to sit here and take this Neil Brown disrespect.
I didn't. I said they're going to put up a very respectful game.
I got the fighting Neil Browns winning this one 24-18.
Interesting score.
That's interesting.
I got rock fight all day. I'm slamming the under in this football game, no matter how it goes. I think even if Penn State wins this one, it's that score in the inverse.
I think that I have mine Penn State 27-17, but that's a late score. I think it's 2017, very late in this football game. And again, Penn State just has the game sealing drive late in the game to get a 10-point win.
Whoever can flip field position best in this football game is going to win. I know I'm not the special teams guy, but whoever gets the most short fields in this game will win.
I've got Penn State 30-21 with a lot of field goals, and then West Virginia gets an explosive play here or there.
No Morgantown advantage?
No, I think
that's where I'm giving.
I think that's why this game stays close.
I'm thinking college football sound meter through the roof.
I mean, West Virginia.
Drew Aller can't take
I think
slot
this is
check out.
I think this is like 23-21 in the fourth quarter. Then Penn State scores, and it's just
either way. Monday, people are like, "Hey, fighting Neil Browns." They might be on to something.
They're tough. They're a tough team.
Brooks might be on to something. Fighting Neil Brown's fighting hard. All right, we like that. We all went around predictions, score, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's get on to this next football game. Miami at Florida. It's a big one, boys. Who wants to start?
I can start this
Go
one.
ahead.
I think this is a game of teams that are very misrepresented going into this matchup. I think that people look at Miami and they see Cam Ward and they think that this is going to be a team that is led by a powerful offense because of Cam Ward and he's just going to carry them. And I think people view Florida going into this matchup as just kind of a dead man walking. They don't really expect much of a fight from Florida. They almost view them as they're just kind of putting out already. They're just done. They're not going to put up much of a fight.
You think those are incorrect assumptions of these two football teams?
No, I don't. I think, yes and no. I think that. Well, let me get in more.
My bad.
No, you're fine.
I just a railroad introduction. That's my bad.
Well, I think that Cam Ward in this football game is going to put up some good drives, and people are going, "Ooh, Cam Ward, transfer quarterback. He was the top quarterback. He's doing exactly what Miami wanted him to." But I also think that Graham Mertz in this offense is going to do stuff where people are like, "Oh yeah, Graham Mertz is not a bad quarterback. Graham Mertz is a good college quarterback," and they also have Trey Wilson. So I think that Florida is going to propose some problems. I also have some questions about Miami's defense in this one. So I don't think that it's just going to be this terrible Florida team that people are expecting. I don't think it's going to be this high-powered Miami offense that people are expecting.
I kind of agree with Jay Will on this one. People all offseason have treated Cam Ward like he's Superman, and within the Miami program, they're treating Miami like they're a national title contender this year, and I don't think they're that. On the adverse, everyone's expecting Florida's just going to come into this year and roll over and just die, which they will probably have that at some point just because the schedule is going to beat you down, but they're going to come out swinging in this first game. They kind of have nothing to lose here except pride, and so it seems like they're almost playing with house money here, and it's in the swamp. I think Florida's at the advantage in this game.
Oh, I think I know where he's going with his pick. Well, sneaky. All right, my turn. I'm going to tell you right now, here's my prophecy. A coach will lose this game.
I love that.
Obviously, someone has to lose. But whichever team loses, it will be because their coach did something. I'm telling you, these two coaches are on pathways for being voted Hall of Fame worst game managers by fan vote. I'm telling you, everybody is expecting these guys to make a critical mistake. On one side, we got Mr. 10 men on the field. On the other side, we got Mr. Won't Take a Knee. We are just waiting for these two football coaches to F up and be the reason that their football team loses the game. If there is any prophecy here, it's the fact that their coaches are going to cost them something. It ain't going to be lost on the football field and execution. Maybe it is. Ultimately, football is. But I foresee a coach doing something like, what on earth did that guy just do?
Oh, he just lost his job.
He just lost his job. I got a feeling something like this is not going to be a hum-ho, well-fought football game where you leave and you think, damn, both them teams very well coached. No way. There's just no way that happens in this football game. I have, a score coming for you in just a second, but that's the way I see it.
Props to Tin Man. That's a good
You
one.
like Mr.
I think
Tin Man?
that one just got grazed over a little
Tin
too
Man.
quickly.
Mr. Tin Man.
Tin Man.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Because it's 10.
I honestly think that this game feels a little bit like FSU versus Georgia Tech. I think that one of the, like you're kind of mentioning, like Georgia Tech just ended up being the better coached team. One team out-coached the other. But you don't really walk away from this football game feeling wowed or won over almost about either team. It's just,
very, very Florida-Utah a couple years ago.
2022.
That's a good one.
When it was in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Where Utah won that football game, I believe.
No, Florida won that
football game.
Well, that's the Anthony Richardson
Okay, but
spin
either way,
version.
I think most of the national report on that was, hey, good scrappy win. This is what happens when you travel on the road in the SEC.
Yeah.
Utah, you'll bounce back. That's a tough loss. I think something similar could happen here in terms of the narrative if Miami plays close, which I think they will.
Yeah, I mean,
my prediction to get into it is I got Miami winning this one 34-30.
I got Florida 31-27.
I went Florida 30-24. So we're all in the same range.
We're all in the same range, and we all think points are going to be on the board. I think it's going to be a really, really entertaining football game.
I do too.
I think there's no doubt. This is going to be a really fun one.
Next game?
Clip it, Johnny. Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I'm going to tell you right now, if in 1555 Nostradamus dropped a bunch of quatrain bars on this football game, they would have miscategorized it as a 1950s category. Because, he'd have been speaking in codes, and he would have been talking about something in regards to a rock fight. And people would have looked at that and they'd be like, this has got to be the midshipman versus whoever, okay, maybe Princeton from the 1950s. This is a, 1910 football game. This is a 20-10 football game. This is an absolute rock fight going on. Categorize this one from his prophecies in the 1950s range.
Rock fight, I like it.
Hit the snooze button on this one.
Really?
This is a take a peek game if there ever is one. I think this is going to be.
You're taking peeks, huh?
This is just going to be a boring football game. Like if you're locked in for 4 quarters on this one, I mean, you're choosing to just kind of suffer on a great weekend, in my opinion.
After we get his prophecy, I want to play a very fun game with you guys.
Okay.
Come with the prophecy.
Let's hear it. My prophecy, are you not done yet?
I was just going to say, I think that both of these teams are lacking offensive weapons. There's no wow factors on either side of the football. I think this game is going to boil down to, is Connor Weigman going to go win this football game for Texas A&M, or is Riley Leonard, whoever's going to make the more plays for their offense? Because that's what it's going to have to be. I don't think that there's a weapon on either offense that they're going to go and step up and win this game. It's going to be for either of the quarterbacks. I think both defenses are going to keep them in this football game, partially due to the lackluster on offense. So I think it's going to be a close-fought football game, but it's going to be a snooze fest.
This is a game that I think we're going to have a narrative change on Texas A&M. For the last few seasons under Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M has seemed like an unorganized football team. It's just a bunch of talented guys going out there and not really playing together. We're going to see a change in that under Mike Elko. It's going to be like, wow, Texas A&M really looked disciplined this game. I don't think they're going to look like world beaters. I don't think they're going to be physically imposing, but they're going to cause problems for Notre Dame, and that crowd is going to be a lot. And plus, I don't think Riley Leonard is a good enough quarterback. He's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback.
Dang.
And you need a great quarterback to win in SEC environments like
Riley
this.
Leonard slander.
Sorry, J-Lo.
Are you still repping the Dukes?
Nah.
Are you a Malik Murphy truther?
I don't know.
I think you got higher ceilings in the Malik Murphy truthism than you do in the Riley Leonard truthism. I'll tell you that
Probably
right now.
right.
You want to play this game right quick?
I'd love to play the game.
All right, here's the game. I'm going to read you the starting wide receivers for both of these football teams. You have to tell me which one's from which team.
Okay.
Do you think you can do it?
No.
I don't think you can either. All right, here we go.
No.
Bo Collins, Jalen Greathouse, which, by the way,
Greathouse.
Greathouse, also Jalen Greathouse, definitely an NCAA generator name. Jordan Faison. All right. List number 2. Noah Thomas, Cyrus Allen, Ja'Day Walker.
Ja'Day Walker doesn't sound
I
like a
know
Notre
which
Dame
one
name.
is which only because I recognize one name.
Well, you stay out of it.
Ja'Day Walker doesn't sound like a Notre Dame name, so I'm going to go that's Texas A&M.
Profiling. Ja'Day Walker can't be a Notre Dame name?
It doesn't
How
sound
about Jaden Thomas being a Notre Dame name?
It doesn't sound like a Notre Dame name to me.
Jaden Thomas doesn't?
I could see that.
You can see Jaden Thomas, but you can't see Ja'Day Walker. What are you doing there?
What do you mean?
I don't know.
The aura of Notre Dame doesn't stream Ja'Day Walkers. They don't.
You're right. It screams Texas A&M. You're correct. The second list is Texas A&M.
Trying to make me the bad guy for getting it right?
No,
What
I'm
the
not. I'm
hell?
trying to make the game hard like I thought it was. I thought the game was pretty hard.
It
but
was.
And I was also trying to steer the audience away from you playing devil's advocate because they were probably on you too, or with you, in terms of Ja'Day Walker being a very Texas A&M name.
I recognized Bo Collins, and I immediately knew that was Notre Dame. That was the
Bo Collins is Clemson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He transferred to Notre Dame?
Yes.
Okay. There you go.
That's the only reason why I knew it was Notre Dame.
But that game alone tells you the quality of weaponry in this football game. Not a lot of receivers. This is going to be a rock fight. Ton of defense in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I got Notre Dame winning 20-10.
Wow.
I went Texas A&M 28-20. I think it's a defensive game. You're going to get turnovers because of that. Someone's going to make a bad play. 28's not a lot of points in modern college football. I know we think that's kind of a high-scoring game. It's really not. That's 4 successful drives. So
I got the inverse of you. I've got Notre Dame winning 28-20.
So you got A&M pulling it out. We're both with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike Elko. Just starting his career.
I do not believe in Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I've never believed in Notre Dame, and now they don't have
Defense travels.
Defense travels, but I've never believed in Notre Dame, and now they don't have Brian Kelly there. Like, I believe in them even less in these games. So
we got a standoff between a Georgia fan and a Clemson fan trying to talk about that bread in the chat right now. Hey, put your money up, cuz. That's all I'm saying. Put your money up, dog. Where are we going to go to next? Our last game of the evening in terms of predictions and mapping it out. USC LSU. I don't really have a map out, but I do have a Spider-Man meme I want to put you on with.
Put it on.
All right.
Okay. Our man, the Nuss Bus, Garrett Bussin' Nuss. Our man Nuss stands a firm 6'2", 205. Our man Miller Moss stands a firm 6'2", 205. All right.
Time.
Our man Nuss, limited athletically,
Probably.
lacks some twitch. I wouldn't give him an A+ arm either.
No.
Our man Miller Moss, limited athletically, I wouldn't give him an A or an A+ in the arm category either. I think both of these individuals are relatively similar, even due to let's take it into the home background. Our man Nussabus, son of a football coach.
Nice.
Our man Miller Moss,
Son of a football coach?
son of a USC professor and a father who was an architect. But pretty stable backgrounds dealing with school.
So Ted Mosby is his father.
Pops is Ted Mosby.
Mr. Mosby.
Mom's is back half of Ted Mosby, Professor Mosby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically he's parented by Ted Mosby. And he plays quarterback for USC. But a little bit of the same football player.
Could be.
Nuss got way more weapons around him and a way better football team. I got LSU.
Yeah, I think that these are two quarterbacks that we don't really know what to think of going into this football game. Very limited film and not a lot of production to go off of going into this game for these two quarterbacks. So still some questions, some uncertainty. However, I think there are more questions on USC's roster than there is LSU's.
You trusting us?
Yeah, I think that LSU has the better football players. And I mean, we're going to year 8 of asking, is Lincoln Riley going to get a defense? I think we're going to be saying the same thing next year going into next season if Lincoln Riley is still a head coach. I'm going to roll with the more talented football roster.
The way I kind of see this game playing out is that it's 30 minutes of these two teams just going back, punching each other in the mouth. It's like, wow, we've got an offense.
Score.
Yeah, we've got an offensive game going here. And then LSU's defense starts to settle in. They make adjustments and just take over that game and control it from there on out. It's probably it's looking like it's going to be a classic for the first 2.5 quarters, and then something happens. And it's like, oh, well, that was the momentum changer, and USC can't pick it up after this.
So no one here is sussing us. We all trusting us?
Yes.
I would say I trust in us.
I trust this Nuss.
Oh.
I trust in us in this instance.
Are we sus on Miller Moss, or are we just mediocre on the talent around him?
Yeah, I'm not sus on Miller Moss, really.
It's got to be a huge year for Deuce Robinson. He has got to do well this year out there for USC. I mean, in terms of not just for his stock, I'm talking about for their offense. That dude's got to ball. They need a true weapon outside of Zachariah Branch. Though the good news about having a dude in the slot that's like a freak, really hard to double that guy. You know what I mean? Really hard to double him. Most of the time you're off coverage anyways. And the safety stands in the middle of the field no matter what. I got LSU winning this football game 38-28.
Yeah, I got LSU 42-27.
I have.
What'd you ooh me for?
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I have this game tied 24-24 at some point. LSU wins 38-27.
Okay.
So 1 point off.
We're close.
That's why I went ooh.
That's why you oohed me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you think I hot take that, huh?
No, I was like, ooh.
I like yours. You think LSU handles this, huh?
Yeah, I do.
You're not a Lincoln Riley guy?
Nah, not in this one. I don't feel comfortable going into a matchup, but the defensive struggles, and you can say what you want about LSU loss on offense, but they got two really good tackles. They have a good quarterback from what we've seen. Often, I know it's limited, but what we've seen from Nussmeier, it's good enough quarterback play. And LSU always rolls in some more weapons in the wide receiver room.
I agree with all that. I don't trust Lincoln Riley's defense. I don't trust Lincoln Riley in this type of environment against an SEC team. I do trust Lincoln Riley's game planning and script for the first 3 or 4 drives when you've had an entire offseason to prepare for that. So that's why I think you're going to have a hot start and it's just going to come lapse completely.
But what are you preparing for? Are you preparing for what Blake Baker put on tape? I can't believe I just pulled Blake Baker's name out of the back of my head right there. Do you prepare for what Blake Baker did in Missouri, or did you prepare for what LSU did last year defensively, or do you prepare for both? I don't think it's as easy as just lining up and playing defense or playing offense.
No, I agree.
They're going to have to respond to what's going on there.
I agree with that.
What if Wednesday?
I love this.
Who wants to start? Y'all know how it is around this channel. If you're brand new, it's Wednesday. We finna provide you with some what ifs.
I'll trail with what we were talking about with LSU and USC. What if Miller Moss is actually a Heisman caliber quarterback and he just dots up LSU this game? Doesn't have to win, but maybe like
Chat said it's the game that might have 50 missed tackles.
Very well could.
Yeah. If he just dots it up.
Dots it, like has 350.
I think this is the what if on USC season entirely.
Yeah.
Like, what if Miller Moss is good? And what if good quarterback play just doesn't matter? Because it obviously did for him, for his, in terms of Lincoln Riley's success. What if it doesn't matter? What if the success around Lincoln Riley has everything to do with everything else because you can give him the constant of really good quarterback play? It would kind of it would kind of point to the fact that I've been pointing at is like, buddy, you can take really decent groceries and make a great dish offensively. So why don't you go out and buy great defensive groceries? Yeah. Why not do that? Because you can obviously, if you take Miller Moss and throw for 4,200 yards, buddy, you should never recruit another 5-star quarterback ever. Not as long as they cost as much as they do. You should be going out here digging through the pile, figuring out whatever, because apparently, you can have 6'2", stack 205 with some average arm talent and be really good as long as he can read defenses.
And to Lincoln Riley's credit, he did seem like he was trying to get more defensive ingredients this offseason. I think he just went about going it the wrong way. He just said, all right, let's go out and try to buy the most expensive things we can get for our defense. And then while he wasn't looking, someone stole him out of his cart.
I mean, if that happens, I mean, obviously that's a good sign for USC moving forward, but I don't know if good quarterback play anymore is going to change my thoughts about Lincoln Riley football teams.
No,
because
it seems to be a constant anyway.
It would more validate them than anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you now have more proof that you can develop quarterbacks, not just the 5 stars that you land in a recruiting class, but you can also land players like Miller Moss and turn them into great quarterbacks. But it doesn't really change my outlook on what this USC team is going to be because good quarterback play has not changed the outcome for Lincoln Riley every year.
All right, next what if? What if Florida wins Saturday and handedly?
Mario Cristobal is cooked.
What, like
you had to say that with water in the mouth?
I was in the middle of a swallow.
He had to rush to the mic. He had to rush to the mic to fire Mario Cristobal.
It's a race, dude. It's a race to get the first takeoff.
It's a race to the take.
I didn't want J. Will stepping on me.
Yeah. You think Mario Cristobal cooked after a 10-point loss on the road to a rival?
I think it'll be the start of him getting cooked.
Yeah.
And we'll point to that being like, oh, that's when we should have known.
I think they still owe Mans about $65 million. That might prolong this cooking.
Yeah, I don't think anything is cooked for him until we get into that ACC schedule. I think that this week 1 matchup is really just going to give us hopefully a good read on both football teams. It's either going to confirm what we view about both of them or maybe it's not. Like if Florida wins handily against Miami, people are going to be viewing Florida and probably favoring them in a few more matchups than what they were preseason. So if Florida wins handily, I think people start viewing their schedule and maybe adding some more dubs in the win column for them.
There's no light take after this, right?
Oh, no.
It's hot immediately. There's no let's wait and see after this football game.
No.
It's one way or the other. If Miami wins this game on the road by anything more than 7, they're national title contenders in the national narrative. It'll be talked about on Monday. If Florida wins, hey, Billy Napier, did he just save his job already week 1? You guarantee it. There will be no light take after this football game.
There will be no in between. I agree.
I got 2 really good ones left. What do y'all got
I
for
have two.
What If
I don't think
Wednesday?
J Will's gone yet.
He hasn't.
What if FSU has an LSU-like turnaround this season? And I'm not saying that DJU is going on this.
Just more so lose game 1.
Yeah,
fight
like
back.
last year after the week 1 matchup against FSU, people were out on LSU. I mean, people were selling any stock that they had on Brian Kelly and LSU
They did that in
the SEC.
his first season too.
That's what I'm
Absolutely.
saying. It was 2 years
I mean,
in a row.
FSU beat them handily. LSU did not look great, even with Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels. Like, it was just a very poor football game for them. What if, at the very least, like Mike Norvell and Florida State, they start putting up fights in the ACC and they end up turning this around, and maybe they end up going 11-1 or 10-2. Like, they just go on a streak of wins, or at the very least, they look like a much better football team than what they were in week 1.
Mike Norvell will be labeled as one of the great coaches in college football simply because we saw what he's dealing with at the quarterback position right now.
Yeah.
They did not have any confidence in their offense to move the ball down the field vertically. It was all stretch it outside and try to push him up the middle on the run game. And if that didn't succeed, we were kind of like, well, shit, hopefully DJU can get us on a slant on a quick third down. So, yeah, if they are able to do that and crawl back and finish with a 10-2, 11-1 schedule, people are really going to look well against or on Mike Norvell.
I'd go one step further. If you put me in a coma and woke me up, 4 months from now and told me that Florida State won out, I'd be like, damn, he changed quarterbacks, huh? I mean,
You think that's the only way they went out?
I mean, to like turn around what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like they turned it around and became who'd you reference?
I just said like an LSU type.
I think
People view them very different.
Like, oh yeah, like
2022 LSU.
offensively is how LSU did that turnaround, right? They had to win on offense. If that were the type of turnaround where we go from we can't really even score and move the ball effectively and efficiently against Georgia Tech to all of a sudden we're a top 10 offense, however they did it, I would assume they changed quarterbacks.
I would say their trajectory would more be the 2022 LSU, where it's like, hey, we're still a really talented team. We give everyone, we play fights like LSU or Alabama. We were talented enough to go against them, but we still shit the bed in teams like Texas A&M and Tennessee. And I think that's kind of what Florida State will be this season.
Ohio State plays Akron this weekend. Okay, Will Howard's going to get the start.
Who's LeBron cheering for in that game?
Oh, it's a good question. Well, he fake would have went to Ohio State.
Well, yeah, but
So
he's just a kid from Akron.
yeah, but he got up out of Akron pretty quick.
Yeah, he don't rep Akron like that.
Where's his school? His school's in Akron, right?
I think it's near it, yeah.
All right, so maybe he would root for Akron, the city of tires.
Yeah, as I said, you know their turnover?
Yeah, turnover
Just a
tire.
used tire.
Turnover tire. I made fun of it last year, but apparently their main production is tires. Their primary job production is tire production.
That's the economy right there.
Hell yeah, big tire city, Akron, Ohio. Anyways, Akron and Ohio State play this weekend. Will Howard, I think, and Chip Kelly are going to run the ball to a big lead in this football game, right?
Very, very probable.
You would think so.
Yeah.
Probably going to run it to a big lead. I think like early on in this football game, run it to a big lead. Now, what if Julian Sayin gets in this football game? They're not going to run Julian Sayin.
Nope.
What if there's like 5 or 6 third downs in the second half where Julian Sayin's ripping the ball around the field and dotting?
I don't think there's going to be as much of a fuss in that because of it'll be Akron. It'll be late in the game. It'll kind of be like, hey, Ohio State's got a really, really good backup. And there will probably be some questions to Ryan Day. Like, what did you see from Julian today? Yada, yada, yada. I don't think you get steamrolling on Julian Sayin should be QB1 unless it's a more formidable opponent. No offense to Akron, but it's just not. Like, you can beat up on very bad college football teams and everyone looks good.
I'm interested that you picked Julian Sayin out of the quarterback room.
Yeah, I mean, we know what Devin Brown's going to do. He's going to go in there and run the football.
I
think they might even get Devin Brown in the first half.
I was more so mentioning of like Aaron Nolan.
Oh, no, Julian's the 3 there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he would probably say he doesn't have a 3, still competing for the job. But, you're right. I mean, Devin Brown's probably going to get the run, but it's What If Wednesday.
Oh, no, I agree.
I want to see what happens to Ohio State fans when Will Howard doesn't throw the football well, but they get away with it because they run the football well.
Yeah.
And then the backup comes in, and it's Devin Brown, so it's going to be the same thing.
It wouldn't be a problem in this game. It would be in your next close game. Mm-hmm. It would absolutely become. It'd be like
I want them to get a taste of what it looks like when a quarterback can throw the football.
Like if Ohio State.
And I think Will Howard's okay, but I don't think he's like elite.
if Ohio State ever got down by 2 scores later on in the season after that, people would be saying, please put in Julian Saint.
Yeah.
We need to push the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Joe, I'm going to do the opposite of your what if. What if Florida State loses to Boston College and they start 0-2 this year?
I would say my man Thomas Castellanos from Ware County went stupid. Went stupid. Like 450, 6 tuds.
So you think it would take like that grave an effort from Boston College to win this game?
I mean, from an individual effort standpoint, I can't name another Boston College player.
That's fair. I'm more thinking of like, how quickly do people sour on Mike Norvell? Of that was a fluke and put him back on the hot. Because I mean, remember, not that long ago, Mike Norvell was like, "Hey, is this guy even the answer?"
I mean, you can't get hotter than 7-4 taking an L to Jacksonville State at home.
Correct.
Year 1. Seat don't get warmer than that.
Good point.
But you went from pretty warm seat to, is this guy one of the best coaches in college football? To
He's got such a cop out in my opinion because quarterback plays so bad.
Yeah.
The
Right,
whole,
but it's
the whole
quarterback-
fan base can just look at it and say,
But it's
we
a
just
quarter-
grabbed the wrong portal guy.
And Florida State fans were already doing it on Saturday of we lost 15 players. Like they were already doing the spinning.
I do see this. I don't, and maybe it'll start. Maybe it'll start this weekend if they come out flat. I don't see Mike Norvell hatred from that fan base.
No,
I see
not-
player blaming right now.
Yeah.
I don't see coach blaming. So maybe that narrative turns when they lose to a team they definitely shouldn't lose to.
Yeah.
Georgia Tech's not bad. Boston College is bad.
Yeah, I'm looking at more of, at the end of the day, the guy who assembled this roster, who handpicked all these players and said, this is who we want on our team, is Mike Norvell. And that's now whether the product you put on the field is their fault or not.
What if Texas gets into a first half shootout with Colorado State?
Impossible.
Impossible.
No, I'm just kidding. Apparently their quarterback turned down 600 G's.
And the tight end or wide receiver.
I just want to go ahead and say this. I'm all for sticking it out with the horse that brought you there. But if you're a mid-major quarterback and somebody offers you 600 G's, baby, you need to go. Holy shit.
Yeah.
If that's true.
Not the flex you think it is.
Yeah, for real. That is just mismanagement on your part, buddy. Colorado State, buddy from Colorado State quarterback. I guarantee you 600 G's probably the most money he ever going to make playing football.
Yeah.
You need to go. Same thing for Talia Tagovailoa. It's good that your brother just got $190 million, but you turning down 2 for 1 season, apparently, the last year in Maryland. Buddy, financial mistake. Go ahead.
For sure.
No, I was just saying, like, kind of like a Colorado State light version in this game, where maybe just the first half. Like Texas's secondary is giving us some explosive plays. Colorado State's scoring quick. Texas is answering back. It feels like a back and forth football game in the first half.
Receiver nice out there at Colorado State.
But ultimately, the second half, Texas just takes over. It's a moot point at the end of it. But from that first half takeaway, it's our secondary is once again kind of a burden to us.
It's double down fear if offensively they can't create separation. Or if there's like a mistiming and like obvious signs of lack of rapport between the new wide receivers and the new transfers that just got there and one Quinn Ewers. That would be interesting.
I got one more.
Come on, I got one more too.
What if Branson Robinson wasn't ahead of schedule in his recovery? What if it was still like, hey, we might get him back game 4 this season?
Instead of what it is now,
Instead of where he's fully, completely ready
Georgia
to go.
would be in trouble. I would imagine maybe Georgia administration changes their tone on that situation.
Because, I mean, you would have
If you go into this football game with Nate Frazier and Cash Jones, is that
Yeah,
what you're telling
Chauncey
me?
That's what I'm, I mean,
And
that's what,
Chauncey Bowens?
Cash
Yeah.
Jones and 2 freshmen.
Yeah, I think Mr. Moorhead might have a little different thought on that. Maybe.
Okay.
Whisper, because I don't want him to hear me.
Okay.
Good idea.
That's a good what if, though. That's a really, really good what if. We're testing the value of these microphones right
Yeah, we
there.
are.
Yeah.
Mike's not working.
Shout out to the strength and conditioning program is what we're saying right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out to Branson Robinson for working his
For
ass
being a
off in
different
rehab.
pedigree.
Shout out to that injury report that Mr. Corson's going to be delivering to us. Whole lot of to be determined.
Indeed.
All right, last what if. What if Colorado loses? Somebody had to ask it.
Oh, boy.
There's going to be a
The
party.
world's going to be dunking on Dion.
I feel like we're at this point, we're at the inverse of where we were last season.
Yeah.
Heading into this year, everybody, a majority of people, I shouldn't say everybody, majority of people were really excited about Colorado and Deion Sanders and what they were building.
The algorithm last year was hype Colorado. The algorithm this year is
it's hate watching.
Dunk on them.
It's everybody's waiting and waiting and waiting for their opportunity to basically get to tell Deion on social media, like, we told you that this was not going to work. You were cashing checks that your mouth could, or that your football team couldn't cash, like these types of things. So I think that it's just going to be a hate fest at that point.
It'll be a national holiday on Twitter if Deion loses.
All right, we're good on What If Wednesday. Boys, we have an internal in-house war going on.
Do we?
We got a war. We got a war amongst characters. Beef. Did you know?
Who?
Did you know about this?
No.
So we are show Biff Pogge, right?
Yes.
That's what we are. We are show Biff Pogge. And by the way, I'm going to pronounce that name, Biff Pogge, a different way every single time.
Biff Pogge.
Might call him Buff Pogge if he loses some weight.
Hey.
Might get after it.
Shout out, Coach.
But we are team Biff Pogge.
Do you think, what are the odds we get him on the show?
Biff Pogge? Very slim.
How slim?
I don't know. Carnivore diet slim? Maybe. But Biff Pogge has a very, very stern candidate. Okay, and a what would you call this? A running mate, if you will.
A running mate
for mid-major coach of the year.
Oh,
I like this.
Who is it? Competition here.
He's my man, Chuck Martin. Now, Chuck Martin done gone viral. Chuck Martin done gone viral for shitting down the news reporter's throat for thinking that they lost their kicker. They ain't lose their kicker at Miami of Ohio. Their kicker got stoled up off the roster. Okay, so that was Chuck Martin going viral then. Chuck Martin has since gone viral again. This time, why?
Hates technology.
He hates technology. He is getting off my lawn. Play some Chuck for me.
We love technology, and everybody's all excited about the iPads. I was the only coach in the country who voted against them. Like, well, I don't want iPads. I want to. The old days, you actually watch the action, figure out what's going on. You had to go make adjustments. You don't get, like. I can get a 9-year-old kid to watch the play on iPad and say, "Listen, that guy was running wide open up the seam. We should cover him, right?" Like there's so. All the technology, it's smart by the technology people that sell it, but I hate all of it. So I used to like when you had a coach. Now you're fucking a coach. I got an iPad. I could watch every single play right after it happened. Like you used to have to make in-game adjustments. Now there's just an iPad will make them for you. Pretty soon there'll be robots on the sides. You only have to hire us. You'll be talking. You won't even be talking to me. It'd be great. Oh, this is great. This technology. Like we'll have fake officials, fake players. It'll just be like playing NCAA 25. Just fucking play video games.
Chuck Martin looks like he calls his daughter to figure out the Netflix password.
Definitely.
Chuck Martin looks like he wouldn't know how to switch photos on his own TV board.
Chuck Martin looks like a broke-ass Tommy Lee Jones.
Chuck Martin looks like a thumb.
That's your go-to whenever someone's got like a bigger bill. It's like, thumb.
Nah, if you got no neck like Chuck Martin.
Thumb.
Chuck Martin looks like Brooks Austin at 305. Any more Chuck Martin looks like?
I was trying to think of what Brooks Austin looked like at 305.
Chuck Martin looks like he stands in his front yard watering his grass, watching the kids get on the school bus with a stern look on his face of disgust.
Chuck Martin looks like he runs the local diner in your favorite sitcom.
Chuck Martin looks like Chuck Martin looks like he still reads a newspaper and gets mad at it.
Ooh. In his robe.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. In his robe.
Chuck Martin, definitely a black coffee drinker. We'll go on an exact same rant as that one if you're like, oh, no cream or sugar.
All right, I want to throw an adjustment to our man Robbie from the chat. So Chuck Martin looks like he only wears non-football apparel on vacation, and it's definitely a Hawaiian shirt.
That's a good one for sure.
That's what my dad does.
With brown leather sandals.
That's what my dad does.
He's trying, isn't he? Chuck out here trying to go viral.
Hey, respect, man.
But honestly, like you kind of see what he's doing. He's building that repertoire.
Definitely cashing in on this. Like this stance is very similar, I think, to the one of we got our kicker stolen. Like just kind of like I'm a behind the times guy. This isn't how it used to be in college football.
We used to be a proper country.
Yeah, we used to be a proper college football league, and now we got people stealing our kickers. Now we got iPads that tell us how to do anything, and nobody knows how to nobody has to do anything because the iPad does it for you.
It was very doomsday to me. It's like you watch in a few years. We're going to have automated football players, automated referees, automated coaches. It's like, bro, the AI takeover is not coming for sports yet.
Chuck Martin looks like he's got a bin full of non-disposable food in his garage.
Chuck Martin is definitely a doomsday prepper.
Yeah. That's what the looks like was about.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Chuck Martin.
Definitely got some chunky beef stew.
Definitely got a treehouse made of mirrors in his woods.
Ooh, little trickster. Trying to keep somebody that's busting in. Yeah, keep them out. That's nice. What does bouncing back look like for Florida State this weekend?
Beating the shit out of Boston College.
Yeah, close.
I just blanked on the name. No, I'm talking like DJU's got 450, 3 incompletions, 5 touchdowns. Colorado, or why do I keep saying Colorado?
I don't know.
Boston
you
College.
got Deion on the mind.
I do. He's on me. Boston College has like minus 40 rushing yards. They don't score a single point. But no, it's really just proving that you can stop the run and that you have somewhat competent quarterback play, and that first week was just a bad game for DJU. What's chat saying? Right?
Oh, they're making inappropriate jokes about Chuck Martin.
It's referencing me again.
Chuck Martin definitely looks like the movie high school history teacher that does or gets accused of maybe watching a little too long when the girls walk by.
That's a very specific role.
You know what I'm talking about?
I've also
he always looks like 54-year-old white dude, gray hair, big belly.
Yeah.
Pulls the belt and the khakis up a little bit too far.
It's also like, why would you ever take that role as an actor?
Yeah.
Can you imagine going home to your wife and being like, honey, I got
the job today.
I got
What
a
are you
part
playing?
today. And she's like, oh, it's great, honey. What's that? It's like, I'm going to look at high school girls in a very creepy way, and millions of people are going to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Never understood that.
Yeah.
Off topic, but
I'm going to be the teacher that gets caught putting something on the projector in the next upcoming film. Ooh, that's tough. It's tough seeing Chuck Martin. I think a bounce back for Florida State looks like physicality and gap sound play on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
We ain't even got to get that serious. We ain't even got to get into blow the water off, blow the doors off.
No, yeah, I was joking.
I almost want to see DJU be forced to trust weapons. I want to see them tell him, like, hey, if you don't throw an interception today, you're in trouble. Like, if you don't throw an interception today, if you don't put the ball at risk today, if you turn down opportunities, we're going to sit your ass. And I want him to go out there and play like that.
Yes. The problem is I don't think DJU doesn't play with confidence. I think DJU plays like he knows his limitations. There were plays in the Georgia Tech game where I was like, okay, he's throwing down the field. Oh, it landed 5 yards away from anybody. Like that was literally like what it was every time. Like there were a couple of plays where it was like, okay, they're actually trying to air it out with DJU, and it was just wildly inaccurate to the point where Florida State was like, all right, well, we can't do that. Never mind.
And every time they did, though, it felt like everybody on that sideline was holding their breath every time. Like, and even me, as someone that didn't have a dog in the fight, anytime DJU was throwing the ball 20 yards or more, it was like, what's about to happen? I don't know where this ball is about to go. I think it's more important to, I think, kind of what Brooks is saying of like regaining your identity and finding that, getting that part of your football program, and then just kind of instilling some confidence in DJU, like not completely falling off the rails.
We're going to end the national hour by reading Chuck Martin looks likes. Chuck Martin looks like he swims in the public pool with his t-shirt on.
I used to do that, yeah.
Let's see here. I don't know what's going on in the chat. Chuck Martin uses Brute aftershave.
I'm not sure what that is.
Chuck Martin doesn't look at himself naked. That's a little tough. Okay. I don't think any man wants to do that.
No, he's out here just like,
look at me, man.
Okay, yeah.
Hey, G, you're looking good.
We'll pass on that one.
Thank you.
Chuck Martin watches Remember the Titans in reverse. I don't like that accusation for Chuck Martin's defense. Chuck Martin definitely wears Crocs at practice. I could see that. Chuck Martin definitely watches The Price is Right. But this might be my favorite. Chuck Martin heats up TV dinners in the oven. That's
Hungry
pretty good,
man.
chat. That's pretty good right there. Oh, man, that's good stuff.
Well, we just found the bit for the chat for the next week.
Yeah, bit for the chat is Chuck Martin looks like jokes. Chuck Martin looks like he lives in a van down by the river. I would argue Biff Pogue looks a little bit more like that than Chuck Martin.
Yeah.
Chuck Martin's a perfectly comedic name for a football coach that looks and sounds like Chuck Martin too.
Exactly.
What the Chuck? We got a whole nother hour coming up right now.
Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog?
What's up? You like that? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Guy Network on a very wired Wednesday. We're already an hour in, and I can tell you right now, you think I'm calming down? I'm not. The caffeine's just now starting to set in.
Oh, shit.
Caffeine's just now starting to set in. I might ad-lib tonight. I might lose my mind tonight. I might scream at Georgia fans for rooting on Georgia Tech. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen tonight? I definitely know for a fact I'm going to be hammering out these film notes. Boys, have you enjoyed film studies being back?
I very much enjoyed film studies. I said originally, I think I've told you this before, it's a very nostalgic thing to watch in the way people break down film, because it's so much like any football room where it's like, okay, he does this is what they're going to do, this is their tendencies, and you hear that jargon again. Like you said MOR in the film study 2 days ago. I was like, man, I haven't heard that in a while.
Oh, mandatory outside release. Yeah.
So just stuff like that, it's like, this is nice.
Football terminology, football jargon.
It's good to feel like you're back in an actual team room going over stuff like
little
that.
Tag action, little Uno. Ooh, talk to me about a little pin and pull, a little cover six.
We never ran cover six, but
no. About cover nines, the invert.
Yeah.
Talk to me, a little simulated pressure. Talk about a tease. I got film notes for you. All right. Watched a lot of Clemson defense over the last couple of days. If you haven't watched already our Clemson defensive preview, you need to go check it out. It's great stuff. I believe we're already up to about 15, 16, maybe 17,000 views over there on the combination of offense and defensive film study on that Clemson football roster. I have left a little bit more bullish on Clemson's football team over there, particularly on the defensive side of the football. But man, I got to tell you, they are a really aggressive unit, guys. Okay, they're a really, really aggressive unit. It's more of a Georgia base on this network, so I'm going to use an analogy for you. I think this will really hammer home the kind of the difference in styles of these two football teams. Georgia is very much so a disguised-based defense. Okay, there's likely no way, they think there's likely no way that you're going to drive 12 plays and score. Okay, they're going to line up, not really give you an indication of what they're doing, but they're definitely going to keep everything in front of you. They're going to squeeze you. Okay, they're going to bet that over the 12-play drive that they're going to make you go on to score against them, that they are likely, going to beat you at some point. They're going to win a variety of matchups on that lengthy drive to ultimately kill you on that drive. They are going to squeeze you. They are an anaconda, or an anaconda. I don't know why I said it that way. They're an anaconda. They're going to squeeze you throughout the drive. Eventually, they are going to force you into a mistake. They're just too good across the board. That's their defensive philosophy to a T, okay? Clemson on the other side, right? Georgia's the anaconda. Clemson on the other side defensively, they're a cobra, right? They want to strike you and kill you with one death blow. That's what they're trying to do defensively, okay? They're going to line up, show you basically what they're going to do, okay? They're going to show you what they want to do, and they're going to attack. Their whole method defensively is to attack. They send 5 guys on 90% of defensive downs. I don't know that stat to be 100% true. I didn't track it myself, but I'm telling you right now, Saturday, they're bringing 5. They are bringing 5. The only time on film I have seen them drop or only rush 4 rather is when it's 3rd and 19, 3rd and 20. Obvious passing downs. No way a shot in hell you're ever throwing or running the football. We might send 4. Other times we are hunting. Okay, they even tell their linebackers we are getting upfield. They allow these linebackers to absolutely hunt on the defensive side of the football. They are very much so a risk and reward war defense. Okay, they're going to get after you, try to get after you, all right? And they're going to open themselves up to something on the back end. Defensively, guys, they could not be more different than what Georgia is. Georgia is certainly a pressure and man football team, but they're not going to send 5 on every down. They're going to send 4, all right? They certainly like to play man coverage. Do not get me wrong, but they're not going to play cover 0, not very often, not unless they're in the red zone. Okay, that's when Georgia's defense normally breaks into a cover 0 style of defense. But more than likely, Georgia is going to allow you to try to creep the ball down the field and bet that they're going to cause some type of problem, right? They're going to get a sack maybe, or you're going to have a false start, or you're just not going to get the line to gain, all right, on the attempt to score. Clemson, on the other hand, is absolutely hunting, trying to seek havoc plays. And here's what I love about what I do, okay? And it's not always 100% true because I use stats as a confirmation tool. But I very much so study football teams on tape first. I don't look at their box scores. I don't look at their stats. I don't really care to know what it looks like on paper. But I'm going to look at it on film. And I'm going to come up with what I think is the identity of those football teams. And I just told you, I think Georgia's identity defensively is to keep everything in front, okay, make you drive the length of the field, avoid offensive explosives, okay, keep everything in front of them, and bet that over 12 plays, you're going to die. You're going to suffocate out. And I have just told you that Clemson's defensive identity, okay, is to hunt, to get after you, to play a lot of pressure, to get after you and play a lot of man coverage. But that will certainly open them up and make them susceptible to explosive plays. So I'm betting right now that if I told Jay Will, hey, Jay Will, this is what I think. I think Georgia's defenses are really, really, really good against explosive metrics, and this is why. Because they play this style of defense. And I think Clemson is probably really, really susceptible to the explosives, that they probably give up a lot of these, but on the other end, they're probably way better than Georgia is at getting after the quarterback, at creating havoc plays like tackle for losses, at creating interceptions, at deflecting passes. I bet Clemson walks away with those statistical categories whilst Georgia is really, 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 really good in the explosive departments. What would the statistics tell me about that, Jay Will?
Well, I just looked it up for you, and I think that confirms everything you said. So Clemson ranked 26 for 20-plus yard plays, 54th for 30-plus yard plays, and 62nd for 40-plus yard plays on defense last year. Georgia, on the other hand, 15th for 20-plus yard plays, 7th for 30-plus, and 8th for 40-plus. However, Clemson ranked 39th for sacks last season, but ranked 14th for tackles for loss and 10th last season for interceptions, and finished 6th for passes defended.
So against explosive metrics, Clemson finished in the 35th range overall. We'd say 35th, 40th range overall. Georgia well within the top 10.
Yeah.
Okay. And in terms of creating havoc plays, Clemson was within the top 30, but really within the top 15 of every statistical category mentioned.
Yes.
So you would say that the stats back up the film?
Absolutely.
With confirmation of the identities that we have of these two football teams?
Correct.
Love that. Love that. Did you boys watch film? Did you have any questions?
Yes. My question for this is what, and now I don't think it's out of necessity, but what comparisons do you draw from a philosophical standpoint from the 2022 Tennessee defense? I know they were more like, we're just going to send it out of go for broke here because we can't cover shit.
Yeah.
Clemson's approach is definitely, they have the guys to cover, but it still seems like they're willing to go for broke here.
Tennessee was very much so a zone blitz football team from what I remember.
Okay.
They kind of, now it looked like zone match, don't get me wrong, eventually, but this is a cover 1, cover 0 football team, dude. I to this day, I've been doing this film-based analysis for 5 years on Georgia, okay? Since 2019, I've been doing this type of breakdown where I study, try to figure out who the football team is in my own nutshell, and then try to get back and forth with information from the team and inside the building to see what they think. Am I right? Am I on the right path? Okay, I've been doing this for 5 years. I have not seen a team play this much zero. Never. I have not seen a team trust that they can play this much man coverage as what Clemson does. Never. I haven't seen it.
Is there anything that they do other than 0-2 that would be like, say, okay, we need to move to a zone coverage here? What are their tendencies for that? Do they even show them?
Third and obvious passing downs. They will disguise. They will zone blitz out of that.
Okay, is it typically a cover?
It's a simple pressure.
Okay, so
they'll walk 7 is what we saw. It almost looks like engage 8, and then they'll drop 3 and they'll rush 4. a rush 5.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's a sim pressured look. And when they give you that sim pressure look, 9 times out of 10, they're either bringing it all right? They're bringing the heat, playing 0 behind it, or they're playing some type of zone blitz. But yeah, that's kind of their defensive tendency in terms of what they do. But I thought Carson said it best. I mean, they don't hide shit. He didn't say it like that, but they don't hide anything. They line up, they say this is what we're doing, and they hunt. They absolutely get after you. I do worry about their ability to limit explosives on the defensive side of the football, though, particularly against Georgia, where this style of defense works for you when you can win your one-on-ones consistently.
Right.
Okay, because that's what it boils down to, right? You're Clemson, and you're forcing 5 offensive linemen to block the 5 guys you're bringing, and you're forcing their 4 wide receivers, or however many wide receivers they're going out and around. You're forcing those 4 or 5 guys to win their one-on-ones in corner battles against DBs. And I think a lot of the time, Clemson defense can look very, very suffocating because they are playing inferior opponents. I don't think that's the situation this weekend. And I don't think anybody thinks that's the situation this weekend. So I do think stylistically it has its advantages in a conference like the ACC where they have superior players. This is not a style of play that you can maintain when the other side of the football is really, really good like Georgia's is.
Yeah.
So I know that we kind of talked about during the film study where it feels like Georgia has the speed advantage probably on both sides of the football. Would you think that maybe leads Mike Bobo in the offense kind of maybe relying on some screenplay, like kind of come run with us, and then also because I think that's a good way too, like exposing the explosiveness, maybe not through the air completely, and then maybe even using that as an extension of the run game, like maybe just put one of your running backs on a little flare, toss him out there, get him out in space, make him run with you.
So Barrett Carter was a take, Sammy Brown was a take. All those other guys we talked about on Clemson's roster, they kind of got nixed off of Georgia's board for some type of physical ailment, or not ailment, some type of physical limitation, most of which was speed. Khalil Barnes was not a take at Georgia because he didn't test well enough. Okay, the A.J. Hoffers of the world were not on the board because they didn't test well enough. Avion Terrell did not test well enough when he was at Georgia to be a guy that they wanted to take. Okay, so there's a lot of football players on that field that they don't feel can run well enough to play for them. And if they don't feel that they can run well enough to play for them, do you think they can run well enough to stop them? No. So what I would do is what you're talking about. And I saw it in the film study against Kentucky. And I think that's why you're asking this question. Kentucky lived in that football game off end arounds, jet sweeps, truck toss. I would do that too. I would make this team run east and west because they want to go north and south. Their linebackers want to hunt vertically. Their defensive line wants to go vertically. They do not want to run sideline to sideline. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about Peter Woods because I think Dabo, disservice is the wrong word. I don't think they're doing the right thing with Peter Woods, and we're going to talk about that here in just a second. But I want to keep hammering these questions on film.
So what I'm hearing is Aaron Smith is bound to get an end around at some point.
Yeah, I think Aaron Smith on an end around. I think Anthony Evans. I think Dylan Bell on jet sweeps. I think something to attack edges is certainly in the mix. I also think, and we're going to talk about this in the map it out. I think some type of vertical scissor is happening on Saturday. And nothing beats zero better than vertical switching.
Yep.
When you got two guys running like this. And I mean, it's how, do you remember the 96-yard touchdown? Maybe it was 90-yard touchdown in 2020 at Alabama, Jalen Waddle?
Yes.
That's what that was.
That was also
it was scissors out of motion.
That was also because Tyson Campbell fell down, I think.
They fell down, but they fell down because they couldn't figure out who was switching it. Tyreek Stevenson ran over the top. Tyson thought he was going over the top. He was actually underneath. They switched feet. They switched and fell, or tripped and fell. I think something like that might be on the forecast for the University of Georgia. Hey, welcome in to our local hour. It is a jam-packed Georgia Bulldogs segment here for you guys. And if you're a Clemson football fan showing up today, we appreciate you for being here. Dead ass on that one. All right. It's been a great time covering this football game leading up to Saturday. I'm going to be on the field all 4 quarters on Saturday. Super excited for that one. Going to be shooting some really good flicks. So super excited for this football game, man. It's going to be a great one. Speaking of great one, we got a great show for you guys here in the local hour planned. Like I mentioned, I don't love something that Clemson's doing with Peter Woods per reports. We're going to map it out with our game predictions for you guys tonight. We're going to give away our game awards too. We're going to try to predict who some of the primary football players in this game are going to be. And I might sneak a peek at some point in this local hour at a very, very local-based story that is not Georgia football related, but is Georgia football related.
Interesting.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Hell yeah. Want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Better. Better now offers college football props. Enter more than or less than key stats on college football players. You can now play in 23 states, including the fine state of Georgia. Better is matching first-time deposits up to $250 if you use promo code Brooks or click the link in the description of the bio of this video. I'm telling you right now, I'm loving all overs for University of Georgia running backs, particularly in total yards categories. Think there's going to be some opportunities out of the backfield for those guys. I'm also loading up on everything Dom Lovett related. I think with how much pressure Clemson's going to ultimately bring, I think it's a heavy receptions and yardage game for Dom Lovett because guess why? Closest to the ball and immediately open creates separation. I'm also loving all Carson Beck overs. Shout out to Better, man. Use promo code Brooks. Get over there. Right me ow.
I've got a couple more questions based on film.
Come on.
So this is a zero-based team, which means they're going to be aligned on. Obviously, you have one guy.
Man pressure. I don't want to say they're a zero-based team. They'll throw some one in there.
Okay.
So even throw some two in there.
But they are a man coverage team.
Coverage team.
How much do we see Mike Bobo utilize pre-snap motion in this to kind of mess with that?
I'd be all over it. I'd be all over it. You got to line up on the football and get some pre-snap motion in, and I'd get some cheat motion. Do we have Epic Pen up on the board?
Yeah.
I think it's a great time to talk about what we're talking about here. Okay, let's run to the board. All right, cheat motion. We talked about it. Dude, I've been hot on this lab the whole time.
Nobody said anything.
Nobody said anything. I hope sound quality is not too bad. All right, talking about motion at the snap, they're a zero team, right? First and foremost, most of the time when you jet across, you're jetting the number 2 receiver, right?
Correct.
All right, we're probably not going from 3x1 to nub or anything like that. So let's just assume we're in some type of 2x2 pre-snap, right? We're going to put it this way. We're going to put actually the Y on the ball at the top, okay? So he's got immediate options. All right, we're going with this jet motion, right? 9 times out of 10, they're going to take this safety or this nickel that was standing over him. They're going to roll him to the middle of the field. They're going to roll the strong safety down. But here's the deal. Cheat motion really, really works here. And what I mean by that is snapping the ball as they're behind one another, because now they can't transfer this. So if I cheat motion Anthony Evans all the way over here and I run a post with whoever's playing the Z, let's call it hello. Give me a Z name.
Dom.
Okay, Dom Lovett.
Not Dom, but Dylan
Dom.
Bell.
Dom would be right here. Dylan Bell, somebody. And let's say Colby Young's back over here. All right.
I knew it started with a D.
So let's go Dylan Bell on the post, all right, and then right behind him, we can go Arian Smith on the go. And maybe shallow, there's depth a little bit. Let's go slant instead of post. But either way, have them stacked in alignment, running behind one another as the ball is snapped. So when these guys are off coverage over here, right, we're going to have a safety essentially in a corner. They're going to have to play that off because they're going to have to transition it. So yeah, any type of scissors concepts or crossing concepts out of cheat motion, I think is killer in this football game offensively.
So it's fair to assume that with the pre-snap motion they're going to utilize, it's probably going to be a slower pace on offense. Like it's not going to be a get to the line, get set, snap the ball.
I mean, they don't play fast anyway.
Right.
Georgia is historically we're going to snap the ball anywhere from 15 to 25 seconds unless we're doing some type of hurry up after a big explosive. That's the only time Georgia's hurrying up. Now, there's still a no-huddle offense. But a lot of it is check with me. A lot of it is get to the line of scrimmage so we got an opportunity to get out of whatever we don't like in this situation. I don't think pace has changed, though. I don't think pace necessarily changes. I think getting lined up, doing some scatter stuff pre-snap might help with some of this stuff. All you're trying to do with motion against man football teams is to create a bust, right? You're trying to get somebody that didn't trade off their assignments correctly with another individual. That's what we're trying to do with pre-snap motion. And I do think historically, I picked up on this when Bobo was at Auburn. I thought Bobo's ability to, because he had to, at Auburn, he had to create tricks and mismatches and wide open opportunities for guys because of things like this, where I'm going to hide this post route or I'm going to hide this arrow into the flat because nobody's going to see this guy post snap. They're going to blow their assignment because of what I did as a coordinator. I think he's really, really good at that personally.
I like it.
Where were we at? We just welcomed in.
Yes.
I want to talk about our man Peter Woods. That's what I want to talk about. Okay. Tweeted about Peter Woods this weekend. Or was this today?
Yes.
Today. Tweeted about Peter Woods. I said, most common note, and it is, I think I wrote it down 5 times. I broke down 3 quarters of football play or a football game between Clemson and Kentucky on the defensive side of the football. I think 4 or 5 times I wrote down the same note. Number 11 is a freshman. Okay, that number 11 is Peter Woods. He's coming back as a sophomore this year. However, he was playing 3-tech last year in that football game as a true freshman against Kentucky. An SEC offensive line, by the way, that I think had probably a combined 50 starts. What did we say?
Probably
combined 50 starts on that line. It's a really, really veteran offensive line that ain't got no bitches on it, okay? Ain't got a single one. Couldn't find one. Got big, tough some bitches. That's what they got out there at Kentucky. And at bare minimum, they can run block. That is what Kentucky in this conference has been known for. They control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. Kirby Smart, right out of his mouth, that is what he says about that football team. They are good at the line of scrimmage. Bro, Peter Woods, I'm going to say it. Peter Woods almost looked like Devin Brown-esque in the run game as a true freshman. I'm talking about impossible to move. As a 6'2", 315-pound goddamn fire hydrant. That's what he looked like on tape, didn't he? You sit here and watch it with me. He is thick, 2 C's.
Thick boy.
Thick, all right? And uncoils his hips. I wouldn't say the first step's elite. I wouldn't say the arm length's elite. I wouldn't even say the body type is elite. This doesn't look like Aaron Donald. All right, it does not. But boy, if this guy is impossible to uproot, I mean, elite in the run game. I tweeted it. Best run tape I've seen from a freshman in a very long time. And then I look up in my mentions, and I come to find out that they have moved this 315-pound individual who was elite in the run game as a true freshman. They have moved him out of the defensive tackle position to the defensive end position. And I don't like it. I don't like it unless you can tell me right now that Peter Woods is no longer 315. He's playing at like 285. I'm good with that. But otherwise, I think we just moved a guy out of position in something that he was great at defensive tackle. And by the way, I think it's his NFL projection. He's a defensive tackle. He's 6'2", playing weight's 300 pounds, maybe at its best, like ideal weight's 300 pounds. And this was not necessarily a knock on him coming out of high school, but it's something that people worried about is his arm length. He doesn't have elite arm length. He doesn't have defensive end metrics. And he's got first round, guy's going to be great defensive tackle tape. This is very confusing. I don't like this.
What would be the advantage of putting a guy that heavy on the edge?
It's not. I don't think it's a heavy thing. I think it's they lost Xavier Thomas and they needed somebody to play.
They just need someone to skill it. So
yeah,
okay.
I think they're deeper at D tackle right now than they are D end.
So they're not moving that body over there; they're just moving the talent over there. More so. Okay.
I think they think he's a far more serviceable. I think the idea of Tamarian Parker on one side and Peter Woods on the other, number 19, I forget his name. He's got really good body size and he's their other 3-tech. And I think they like the idea of those 3 guys on the field plus another one. By the way, the other one's Peyton Page, another really big individual.
That's what I was going to ask is, do you think it has anything to do with the fact that Page?
Uh-huh.
Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that they do have Page? So maybe they feel like they can get more out of that unit if they move Peter Woods?
I think it has more to do with 19, and I'm sorry I'm blanking on his name, but 19 is the 3-tech projection. Peyton Page is the nose tackle for this defense, whereas Peter Woods would be the 3-tech.
Keith Adams Jr.
That guy is a big human. Based off what I've seen and what I've heard. I know I saw Jordan Reed hyping him up the other day as well in terms of the NFL already being very well aware of that guy. I don't like it. I don't like moving a guy who's a natural 3-tech out to the defensive end position because of team need. It's anti what we preach and what we ask for from college football coaches. Yeah, you have to win football games, but you have to maximize the careers of those football players. And I think his best ability, DeMonte Capart's the guy I was looking for. That's the name. That dude. He's a dude. Big, physical, long. The opposite of what Peter is. Peter's twitchy, violent.
I was looking at the wrong 19. That's on me.
Did you look at offense?
Yeah, I looked at the running back instead. Yeah. That's on me.
Yeah, I thought the name sounded weird. Keith Adams Jr. is a walk-on from Woodstock High School. Yeah.
Nice. Will you
double check me on that?
I probably played against him.
Nah, he's a sophomore.
I did not play. God damn it.
Keith Adams is. He played with AJ Swan at Woodstock. He might be a junior.
AJ Swan was Cherokee.
Cherokee. That's what I meant, not Woodstock. It's in the county of Woodstock. You got it for me?
He is a sophomore. He's from
Cherokee.
No, it says St.
You go
George,
JUCO?
Utah.
He went JUCO after he left Cherokee County. He played at Cherokee. I promise you right now. I covered him. Really good football player, but walked on after playing JUCO out there in Utah. Either way, where were we at? We're in film notes.
We were just wrapping up film notes, talking about Peter Woods.
Don't love it. Don't love it. But I love everything.
You love it if you're a Georgia fan. It probably is a good thing for you.
Yeah. I like the matchup for Xavier Truss and Ernest Green. I don't think those are two individuals that you're going to be able to run through. I think when the biggest problem for the biggest problem for Xavier, in my opinion, is speed rush. And I don't think a 300 the chat said he's listed at 319 now. I don't think a 319-pound defensive end is going to be running past you on the edge. I haven't seen Ernest ever struggle with an anchor.
Yeah.
I definitely haven't seen Xavier struggle with a lot of that either. Their edge rushing depth behind that is the opposite of Peter Woods, though. AJ Hoffler is kind of a well-versed, a lot of tricks in the bag, but not great at one thing, good at a lot of things type of edge rusher. Some of their younger guys are twitchy, long guys. They don't look like Peter. Mm-hmm. But I think Peter Woods is a Sunday 3-tech. I just don't love it at defensive end. But they've always historically, they always play a bigger, shorter, solid-off dude at that. Xavier Thomas was this. Mm-hmm. Xavier Thomas was 6'3", 285, playing that position. So we'll see.
Sawed off. I like it.
You like that term?
That's a good reference. That's a good term for a person.
Yeah.
Just sawed off.
I would at 300 pounds, I would deem myself sawed off. Should have been 6'3" carrying that weight, big boy. Yeah, maybe not sawed off as much as squatted.
A squatted
muscle hand.
Yeah, just you squeezed him in a can, and he came out like a Pringles can.
Good.
You know, like one of them to-go Pringles cans.
Yes,
that's what I looked like at 300 pounds. Pringles can Brooks.
Man, need the stash though.
Huh?
You need the stash like the Pringles.
Oh, I can't grow facial hair.
Yeah, I've seen the attempts. You showed me a picture the other day.
Not great, Bob.
Yeah, not great. There was an attempt for sure.
We might give it another run. We just got to have a time period where I'm off camera for like a month. We got one of those?
Never.
When are you retiring?
November will be here before.
I'm thinking maybe my 70s.
Oh, okay.
Just wear a mask.
I think if I make it so I started doing this in 2017, giving opinions. So I would have been 23 years old.
You had your first opinion in 2017?
In terms of all microphone opinion, yeah, 2017. Maybe retired 2067. 50 years in the biz.
That's crazy. That feels like forever away.
2067, I'm gonna call it a day, and then I'm gonna write my memoir. And you're not gonna be in that book because I'm only doing dirt.
Oh dang!
I'm not gonna do self-aggrandizing. I'm just gonna air it out. I'm gonna air out anybody I ever had beef with. Right there.
Dang.
A diss track.
Just a diss track. That's what it is. It's gonna be. It's gonna be in quartets.
Oh really?
Just like my man Nostra.
Callback.
Chat. I don't think chat liked the Nostradamus history lesson at the start of the show.
I think they had some fun with it.
Think so?
I thought it was entertaining.
Okay. Maybe I'm randomly peeking at it. Damn, you laughing at Smooth?
Because that's like your worst nightmare. You looking like
that'll actually be me.
It's like
I'll be the one who looks like fun.
I'm gonna be the guy. So 50 years in this business. I would have been 23. I'm gonna be 73 years old. I'm gonna
like
be
Chuck Martin.
I'm gonna be the 73-year-old with like obviously dyed and plugged hair. I'm gonna be 70. I'm gonna be Coach K.
There you go.
Coach K had jet black hair in his retirement.
There is nothing wrong with doing that. The only thing I ask of those people is you have to own up to it. You can't be acting like you are.
You can't be like super natty boss when you're obviously on the sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That rhymed. Damn,
like
is that a start of a quartet?
For the diss track.
That's a quartet.
Yeah. I'm going to be out here 73 years old with the same hairline and hair. No facial hair. Just, I'm going to tell you, we need to shut up and grind the tape. And people are going to be like, bro, y'all need to calm him down.
Walks to the board.
He's about to have a heart attack.
All right, here goes Brooks to the board. 5 minutes later.
And while we do that, we're going to play this commercial.
Hang on, folks. He's still getting over there.
What do you think I would be really, really perturbed about in 2067?
I don't know. I don't want to imagine what the world looks like in 2067.
I don't even want to know. Like I don't even want to attempt to know what college football looks like in 2067. I imagine we'll sound a lot like Chuck Martin.
Yeah, probably. All right, let's map it out. All right, I want to go first. I'm not even going to offer you the option. I'm going first.
It's okay. We're used to it at this point.
All right. I foresee this Clemson defense causing some issues at times in this football game. I do think they're really talented. I also think they're at the point now where they're going to force so many one-on-ones that eventually they're going to win some of theirs. All right. I don't think you're going to clean sweep this football team in terms of execution. I think they're going to force your hands at times. And not only, I don't think they're going to make you maybe turn the ball over, but I do think they're going to be big things like sacks. I do think they're going to be pivotal third down incompletions. I think they're going to be some moments of indecisiveness from the offense from Georgia. I think this type of brand of defense from Clemson causes some of this, like, popping of the clutch, if you will, type of offense where it looks like the machine is doing this, where at times it looks like they're great and at times it looks sluggish. Think South Carolina last year. That's the type of defensive game plan that, ultimately can do things in terms of causing disruption and causing some constipation, as we like to call it on this channel. But ultimately, I don't think Clemson can run with this football team. I think Georgia on the offensive side of the football is way too fast and way too vertically explosive and have the ability to do such. And oh, by the way, you're going to be a man-to-man football team. Guess what? There is no man-to-man coverage and perfect defense for a perfectly thrown football. And we have seen time after time Carson Beck, particularly in the green zone, 35 and in, we have seen this football player be able to put it wherever he wants to. I think Bobo dials up some of those vertical scissors concepts that we drew up on the board just a minute ago. All right. And I think he has an ability to use motion and cheat motion to create explosive plays. I really like jet sweeps in the game plan. I like outside zone concepts in the game plan. I like end arounds in the game plan. Georgia walks away with this football game midway through the second quarter, midway through the third quarter. I think the fourth quarter is snooze fest. I think the first quarter is snooze fest. My prediction, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you, 34-17, Georgia wins.
Wow. I don't think we could have had a more similar map out for this. I basically said exactly what you are. This is going to be a very defensive struggle the first quarter of the game. Like, it's going to be two offenses feeling each other out against two defenses that have very good front sevens. Neither team's going to be able to get a lot of traction. You're probably going to have a turnover somewhere in there. Second quarter will kind of pick up a little bit offensively. It'll be a tight game going into halftime. I've said that. I think third quarter, midway through the third quarter is when things start happening for Georgia. They're a more physical team. I think that they're going to lean on Clemson. They're faster than Clemson. That's going to start to catch up with them. I had Georgia winning this game 35-17. With it being a one-score game at the half. So you and I had basically identical map outs.
I do. I like you. I see at some point in this football game, Clemson leading like 10-7. Mm-hmm. And then after that, just...
There's going to be some point when Georgia fans, the casual Georgia fan looks at each other and goes, I thought we were supposed to beat the shit out of this team.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to start freaking out, and then it's going to be fire this person, bench him, what are we doing, yada, 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 and then it'll be all right.
I have a similar score prediction, but I don't exactly see it playing out the way that you guys are. I'm sticking with my original prediction. I think Georgia is going to come out of the gate score in the first possession. And I think that they maintain control of the football game from that point on, but it's kind of just a slow build. It's not like Georgia just scoring points on points on points. I think that this game is going to be somewhere around the 17-6 range at halftime. I think Clemson marches the ball down the field a little bit, stalls out in the red zone, kicks 2 field goals because you got to take points. And then I think that it's just Georgia's speed on both sides of the football and their depth in the second half. I think Riley dials up a couple of nice drives in the second half. I think he's going to get them on, continue to get them in scoring positions. But I think they're going to run out of room. I think they're going to run out of time too to just continue to build up points to catch up with Georgia. So I think it's a slow death for Clemson. But I think Carson Beck also gets dialed in the second half. I think any of the shakiness in this offense and any issues that they do have in the first half, I think that's all ironed out in the second half. I have a final score of Georgia 31-16.
So we're all in the cover range?
Yeah.
I had them by 17. You had them by 18. 15. You had them by 18.
Yeah.
And we're all like right around 34.
Yeah.
Right around 18.
I don't think you're going to hit the 40 mark on this team, especially in your first game of the season. We're going to be feeling things out. Like, don't expect Georgia to come out here and do what they did against Oregon in 2022.
I got a competitive first explosives in the second,
Yes.
and to start the third, and then squat on it.
I think there's going to be some play in the third quarter where you go, okay, this is where Georgia kind of takes over, whether it's a turnover, whether it's a special teams play, whether it's an explosive on offense that you see, and then it's like, okay, you can feel the momentum changing here.
Intriguing to see that no one mentioned a Cade Klubnik turnover in the red zone in the mapping out of this football game.
Yeah, he did that a lot
Think he
last
cleaned
year.
some of this up? Would you say more likely Cade Klubnik goes turnover free or he has multiple?
It's more likely that he probably have multiple than turnover free. I don't think he's going to be as bad in the red zone as he was last year. Some of those plays last year were just like, oh, you just dropped the football. Like, it wasn't even you made a bad decision. Oh, the snap just went by you. Like, things like that. It was almost fluky how much they turned the ball over in the red zone last year.
Chat's apparently taking stabs at guesses of my weight at this point right now.
Trying to be like you.
Huh?
They're trying to be you.
Yeah, something like that. 242 this morning. We're not quite yet sub 240, but we're getting there. It's a slow climb.
That's good. Attaboy.
Yeah. Oh. I like the map out.
If all else fails, you'd be a hell of a carnival
I was trying
attraction.
to find
hell of a carnival attraction.
Yeah, if this all fails.
Yeah.
I was trying to find Cade Klubnik's red zone stats last year.
They were not great.
No, they weren't. They were notoriously bad in the red zone. I remember
he's minus 200 for a turnover in Vegas right now.
Wow.
Makes sense.
He didn't throw an interception in the red zone according to this.
Yeah, it was all fumbles, I remember.
It was all fumbles?
It was all fumbles.
It was like
He threw for 277 yards, 14 touchdowns in the red zone, no interceptions, completed almost 70% of his balls, 68.9.
That's why I say it was almost fluky. There was a game last year, I think it might have been Duke. They had like 3 red zone turnovers, and they were all fumbled snaps.
No, it was Florida State.
It was some. It was.
They had a fumble return for a touchdown against Florida State.
It might have been that. It was some ACC game where it was like, this almost never happened.
Remember at one point Dabo last year said he was 3 plays away from an undefeated season?
Oh, yeah.
That was fun.
Holy shit.
Those were good times. Did you forget about that?
Yeah.
There were some crazy storylines that I forgot about, like the fact that Michigan got caught week 7. For some reason, my brain was telling me week 3. I don't know what was going on there. But anyways, there's some things I forgot about.
We need to do a refresher at the end of every college football season from now on.
Just like bring it back.
Yeah, just a
That's why I
what
like
you
storing
forgot.
all my show notes, because I like to be able to go back to them and see like anything that happened that I want to
bad
refresh my
talks.
not
memory
even
on.
worth going for it. Have you noticed he always does it when you're talking?
Yeah,
You know why?
Why?
Come on, you know why.
because you're operating the cameras.
He knows why.
I can still multitask. So I can
Use
talk
the
and change the cameras.
You think
and-
so?
Yeah. I can have a
Test you out, man.
conversation and change
we'll text
them.
you out tomorrow. Test you out tomorrow.
Whoa,
Might have some show news on that front. Fingers
Mm,
crossed.
good to know.
You know, at this point, we're whoring it out. At this point, we're rolling billboard, baby. We're rolling billboard. Shout out to Better.
Dang.
You know what I mean? At this point, it's about that money, dog.
For real.
Trying to get that bread up.
Oh, so that's like confirmed?
I mean, rumors. It's talking season. Might be somebody trying to get in bed with us. You know, all that weight loss got him talking naughty.
All right.
All right.
Next segment, please.
Next segment, Game Awards.
Let's do this. I like this.
I like
segment.
this. I think this is going to be a good Wednesday tradition right here. We already mapped it out for you. We already told you the predictions, game predictions, how it's going down, scores, all that good stuff. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the offense. We're going to look at the defense. We're going to give you the most important player. We're also going to give you the most valuable player. And then a new category that I think is very unique to this channel, the flash play of the day. Basically, your opportunity to predict who's going to be the guy that makes that wow play. I think you had the best example of this. Think Oregon 2022 flash play offense of the day. Darnell Washington with a hurdle. Flash play defense of the day. Malachi Stark's interception. That would be flash play of the day. You would argue neither of those football players the player of the game in that football
Correct.
game. All right, so that's kind of how this is working. I think this is a tremendous segment right here. Super excited about this one. Who wants to start? Offensive most important player. Who is it and why? I'll start right here. I think it's Jared Wilson. Okay, a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure from this Clemson team. A lot of, hey, who's coming? So when you got a lot of, hey, who's coming. The guy that helps identify that is closest to the ball. He is Jared Wilson, a very, very important player in this football game, the starting center for Georgia.
I went in a similar vein of that because, yes, while it's extremely important to identify who's coming, you still have to make the decisions with the ball in your hand once you realize who is coming once the ball is snapped. Carson Beck is the most important player in this game. The offense is going to run through him. Their success on third down is going to be whether or not he can find the open guy, whether or not you can find the holes in this defense, whether or not you can find the guy who's winning his one-on-ones. You would trust him to do that with the experience and the amount of processing he does, but it's going to be solely based on whether or not Carson Beck can handle this or not.
Big week one for Carson Beck.
Very big.
I'm going Dom Lovett. I think that he's the guy that I'm circling in the receiving game this week. I think that you mentioned it earlier as well. Closest to the ball, can get open rather quickly as well. It's a quick guy for Carson to hit in those situations where he is getting pressure. So I think that he's going to have a big day. And I think it's really important for him just to be that consistent factor in the receiving game, not only because he is the old guy in the room now, he is the veteran for that team to lean on. I think that it's also this year that he kind of takes a step forward, maybe reverts back to what he was at Missouri, getting more comfortable in this offense.
I like that, and I think all of our most important players revolve around some type of answer to pressure or immediate answers, and I think that right there is what makes this channel really, really special. That's for actual football analysis, not, hey, so-and-so.
He's really good.
Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't go into this football game thinking Dylan Bell's going to, like, explode.
No.
He might have a good game. He may. I mean, he may defy what I'm about to tell you, but their offensive coordinator just told me that they think Dylan struggles with bump and run. They think he struggles getting off of press man coverage. Well, he fitting to see 4 quarters of it. That's exactly what he's getting all Saturday. So I don't think this is his game as much as it is like an Arian Smith or an Anthony Evans matchup this week.
I like that.
Most valuable player on the offensive side of the football. I went Dom Lovett for the exact reasons that we're talking about. You're going to have an immediate answer right now.
Yes.
Saturday. You're going to have to. And that immediate answer is it can't just be, hey, so-and-so's got an alert stop route, or we're going to swing the back this time. Because you swing the back, they're taking the linebacker with him. He's not immediately open. You're going to have a, hey, here's Dom Lovett matched up against so-and-so. He's getting open right now because we got pressure on our face. Most valuable player Saturday because of this. He's going to be the answer. He's not just important. He's going to be valuable. I'm looking at like maybe a 9-10 reception game for 95 yards from Dom Lovett.
I like that. I did this on kind of a buying stock per se.
Who?
Georgia has not had a extremely explosive run play other than some Kendall Milton runs late in the season 2023. An explosive run play can absolutely bust things open momentum-wise.
They need it, man.
They do. And so I think that having Nate Frazier in that backfield could be a very much hey, Nate Frazier just cooked off a 40-yard run, and now Georgia scores a touchdown that drive to take the lead, and you can kind of say, all right, that was the moment that the game kind of took over for Georgia. I think Nate Frazier's not going to be, per se, the most important player where it's like, we got to get this guy 15, 20 touches, but the contributions that he gives on offense will be so impactful that you can look back and say, that's where things change for Georgia there.
Who do you got? Most valuable player, J-Bo?
I went with a different running back. I'm going with Branson in this football game. I think that he could have some very meaningful carries, especially like if this game plays out kind of how we feel it is, where in the second half.
Control second half.
Yeah, Georgia's just trying to control the football game. I think Branson is the guy that you lean on in those moments. A guy that pick up 4 yards, pick up 5 yards, and then break one off for maybe 10 yards. I think that he's going to have a big day. He's going to have some key moments where his number is called. I think he's going to deliver in them.
All right, so I'm going to give you the flash play of the day, and I'm not only going to give you the flash player, I'm going to tell you exactly how it happens. You
Let's
ready?
hear it.
Nate Frazier, James Cook, a la Alabama 2020, a la Michigan Orange Bowl. You ready? Let's go break it down.
Oh, he's breaking it down.
Who remembers these plays? Do you remember these plays?
I remember these plays very well.
All right, it's simple. Hey, against empty, they play one thing and one thing only. They're a cover one football team. They're going to put a free safety in the middle of the field. He's going to run and follow the quarterback's eyes. Everybody else is in man coverage. So you put an X out here, you put a slot out here, you put a Y right here. Or actually, we're going to put the running back right there. Actually, we're going to put the running back in the backfield. Sorry. Okay, we're going to put the running back right next to the quarterback. All right, we're going to go back over here. We're going to put the Y on the ball. We're going to put the Z off the ball. Now, you do this right here. This guy, he's number 17. His name is Wade Woodaz. Top 5 linebacker name. Wade Woodaz. All right, Wade Woodaz, number 17. He is 6'3", 235 pounds. Now, I said on Film Study, that I would trust Barrett Carter to do all of the covers out of the box. If you stretch me into empty, I'm Clemson, zero's leaving the box. No way anybody else is leaving the box.
Facts.
Except for Clemson does the opposite. When you force their hand, they will run 17 right up out the box. They will leave Barrett Carter in it. If you want to do that, your prerogative. Do what you want. But if the ball's on the left hash, okay, ball's on the left hash, I'm going to run Nate Frazier out here. Okay, I'm going to run him in empty, and I'm going to watch you trot 17 out there, and then I'm going to run right by his ass. I'm going to run right by his ass just like James Cook did at Alabama. I'm going to run right by his ass just like James Cook did against Michigan. And I'm doing
Tennessee,
that right there. Huh?
Tennessee in 2021, too.
Tennessee in 2021. I'm running the James Cook special. That's what I'm doing.
I like it.
Wade Wood ass going to be Wade Cooked ass.
I also had him as my flash play for that reason alone, because I truly think that Nate Frazier is going to be making a play in this game where it's like, wait, that's a freshman, holy shit. And it's going to be a momentum building play.
A lot of options. I almost.
No, we need to pre-clip that. Because if it happens, I want that out on timeline the moment it happens.
Okay. Aye, Captain.
We're going to do that. At some point, we're doing that this year. It's going to happen. I'm going to hit one of those.
Nostradamus?
Nostradamus, baby. I'm going to hit it.
I think that I'm going to stick with a common theme here, and I'm going to stay with Dom Lovett as a flash play on offense, because if he does what he showed in the spring game, I think there's an opportunity for Dom Lovett to
He was so elite in the spring.
So elite, so elusive, making players miss. And if he just has one of those plays, like they throw a little screen pass to Dom Lovett or anything, like even just a little crosser over the middle, makes the first guy miss, and all of a sudden he's breaking one open for 4 yards. I think that he has the opportunity to have a flash play on offense.
Turn an 8-yard catch into a 45-yard game.
Yeah.
Yep.
That would be dope. You're right, though. A couple of those Dovers he ran in the spring game where at one point in the film breakdown, we've got him, we're pausing. He's already got his outside foot in the ground ready to cut before the ball's even hitting his fingertips.
Yeah.
It's just a different level of body control and advancement as a wide receiver after the catch, even before the ball is caught.
Everything
Elite
they tell
stuff.
you not to do as a coach.
Basically everything
Don't
they
run
tell you
without the
not to do. Don't run without the ball.
Yeah.
All that bullshit, unless you're naturally gifted.
Yep.
And he is very naturally gifted. But I felt like there was something last year. Something missing. Maybe he wasn't able to play free, whether it was a transition of offenses, something with Dom Lovett last year. That wasn't there. We have that now. We've seen that now on tape, at least in the spring game against Georgia's defensive players. Speaking of defense, let's go on the defensive side of the football. Most important player, boys. Who is it and why?
It is Jonel Aguero because
Damn it, I should have jumped him.
I was waiting for you.
I know, it is Jonel Aguero.
It's Jonel
I got the
Aguero
same
because
answer.
they're
Do you have
gonna-
the same answer?
No.
Oh, look at you straying away. I like that.
I do a good job of this now.
It's Jonel Aguero because they're going to try to stretch you vertically from the slot.
Did you just tell us that you stay away from being Captain Easy Stance and you allow us to do it and you know we're going to do
Well, no,
it so you
I-
change
you calling
your
us
notes
basic?
and avoid us?
He
No,
called us
I just
basic.
think that
That's
at
what
this
he
point,
just did. He just slid that in there.
I think
I'm getting good at this now. And what he said is, I'm getting good at avoiding you basic bitches.
No, I'm getting good at understanding where you guys are going to lean in certain segments.
That's an ultimate
we're
spin
too
right there.
predictable. We're
what
too
you just
predictable.
did.
no, it is. I mean,
We're predictable basic bitches. That's what you're calling us right now.
hey, you
Just
said
be
it,
a
not
man.
me.
Step on
You
it.
said it, not me.
PBB. It's Jonel Aguero because they're going to try to stretch you vertically from the slot, and it's going to be we've kind of seen question marks arise from that based on spring film and intel. He seems like things have gotten a lot better there, and they seem confident that he's going to be there, but you'd imagine in a backfield with Malachi Starks, a guy that got a lot of snaps, and Dalen Everett, you're probably going to attack Julio or whoever opposite corner is and Jonel Aguero. So he's going to be the most important one. And his ability to add in the run game will also be crucial.
Yeah, I think it's Jonel Aguero for the matchup in general. I think Antonio Williams is their best football player on the offensive side of football.
Yep.
And with that being the case, he's the one that's going to attack. You look like you just got something.
No. I was just getting ready to give mine. I'm going with Smile Munden in this game.
Okay.
I think that this is a good matchup for him, and I think it'll be a very
A lot of eye candy.
Yeah, a lot of eye candy. He's the veteran in this linebacker room, a team that runs a lot of counter in the run game. I like Smile being able to match up against that rushing attack. Just a super athletic human being. And again, he brings a lot of experience into this. And also, hopefully, he's 100% going into this game, something that he wasn't a lot of last year. I just think he's going to be a very important piece for this defense moving forward into this year. But also, I think in this matchup specifically, I like him in this matchup.
How quickly are they shading safety help over Antonio Williams?
Probably.
First possession? I mean, based off alignment, it's going to look like it anyways.
Yeah,
they're a
I don't
split
know.
safety defense.
I feel like they're going to let Jonell run because it's going to be a way to show they trust him. But that first like deep ball where he's either beaten and Cade Klubnik overthrows or they complete a pass or it's a PI, they're going to start putting that coverage.
Question in the chat based off your most important player. Is Smile playing? Yes, Smile's going to play. I don't expect Etienne to play. So there's that. Breaking. Georgia Insider says, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
You're not the first one to say that, though, so I don't think they would.
No. Apparently Pete Thamel was. A little classic leakage. A little classic admin leakage.
Doing it on a podcast, too.
Oh, you can bet
Not
your
putting it
ass.
on
You
main.
can bet your ass that didn't come from that football building. You can bet your ass.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guarantee you that intel from Pete Thamel came straight from administration.
Faux show.
Guarantee it. Would almost put the month's YouTube bill on that one.
Please don't.
Please
don't.
Most valuable football player in this game for the defensive side of the football for Georgia. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button, by the way.
I went with the guy who led the team in sacks last year, who could have a really good shot at doing that this year, Jalen Walker. I think his ability to create havoc on third downs and second and longs and could really create problems for Cade Klubnik, a guy who we've seen has the propensity to kind of put the ball at risk at times. So
I went the other side, Michael Williams.
That's how I went with.
Yeah.
Michael Williams.
I think Michael, what a better way to debut this new package. Send his ass after Klubnik.
Ooh.
I think, too, again, playing into them using counter in the run game.
Oh, dude, he's going to blow a guard's face off.
Yeah, man.
He's
Yeah,
gonna blow a
he
guard's
is.
face
Someone's
off.
losing their helmet.
Yeah, he
Someone's losing
is.
their helmet.
So that's one of the main reason why I chose Michael.
He talked about it in his press conference. Not that. But he talked about how much they run counter. I wish. You talking about being a fly on the wall. I wish I could be a fly on the wall for the breakdown Monday when Kirby walks into the room and he's defensive room and he talks about, we are going to set the tone. They think they're a counter team, boys. They think they can pull and kick you. Michael Williams, they think their guard can run through your face. So you know what we're going to do today, Monday? No. You know what we're going to do Tuesday, Bloody Tuesday? We're going to do nothing but counter destruction. We're going to sit there and we're going to run through a motherfucker's face. That's what we're going to do.
Ooh, get me
I
Randy.
would have loved to be a fly on the wall. Oh,
Yeah, that's what,
Get me Randy.
Michael
Man.
Williams. Michael Williams.
yeah, I'm with you on the Michael Williams.
That's a good answer. That's what I
Flash
think.
play of the day.
Flash play.
By the way, I'm going to predict this one to a T as well. Flash play of the day. Who you got?
I was going to go ahead and lean with the Michael Williams thing. I think that's the flash play. Anytime you do that, you just stick an offensive lineman, put him on his butt, or like knock his helmet off or anything like that. I think that's a flash play, and that's what people love to see. That's what people love to throw in the algorithm. So I think that's going to be one of the flash plays of the day.
A little slippage of the algo in there. I like that. I like that. What do you got?
I went Malachi Starks. He's the veteran guy in this backfield. He's going to be lurking all day. Malachi made an incredible play in his debut in this building. He can do it again. I really like the way Malachi Starks could probably, not only that, could take someone's head off on a Dover coming across. Give me Malachi Starks. With a caveat on defense, I think Dan Jackson absolutely lights someone up on special teams.
I like this. Little white lightning on special
Just so,
teams.
like, kickoff,
Yeah.
landed on the 2-yard line. He's taking it out. Oh, Dan Jackson just dropped this dude to the 12.
Special edition double Hornets Nest Jake Pope on special teams.
Ooh.
Bring it.
Bring
All right,
it.
every
I
time
want
Jake Pope, here's the deal. Film Guy Network fans, every time Jake Pope makes a play, you literally just have to do this. Every time. Every time Jake Pope downs a ball on punt this year, you need to put double Hornets Nest up. That's all I
I
need.
love
to
it.
I need someone in the UJ Spike squad to take up this.
Yes.
Show up to a
Double
football game,
Hornets
double
Nest with the
Hornets Nest.
spike pads on.
Man.
Yes, that's what I need.
I
All
would
right,
love it so much.
flash play of the day. I've told you, Cade Klubnik, shattered glass out in open space.
Uh-oh.
Shattered glass. Who pursues the ball like their damn hair's on fire? Chaz Chambliss is going to decapitate Cade Klubnik at some point on
The
Saturday.
White Wolf.
Really, like, I'm talking about face mask in the sternum.
Might get
2021
ejected.
Michigan.
Yeah.
Might
I'm
get
talking about one of
ejected.
those. Yeah, might get ejected. Might get a targeting. You know what? You could do that. We got depth.
We'll take it right there.
Hey, we can do that.
Maybe-
I would almost tell him, hey,
I mean, heck, it wouldn't matter what.
bounty gate.
You got Tennessee Tech next week too. So like, even if it happens in the second half, like
Yeah, we
we're
can
fine.
burn one.
We're good.
We can burn one.
Burn one.
Gosh,
It's like my basketball Tennessee's was 8. They give you 2 techs for a reason. Hard foul. Get you a hard foul. Get you one of them.
If Kate Klubnik gets hurt this week, that's going to go all over Clemson Twitter and be like, "This is what Georgia fans are doing.
These guys
This is
were
what they
hunting."
say."
No, seriously, I do think he's got a big hit in his bag this week.
He does. I mean, the way Kate Klubnik runs around, he looks like a newborn.
Very little spatial awareness.
Very little.
Very little. Doesn't know what's in his bubble when it's in his bubble. He gets hit hard. That's all I'm saying. Someone's going to hit him hard. But I think, like I said, who pursues the ball harder than Chaz other than maybe Gabe? Because Gabe Harris is going to look like he pursues it harder because he's just faster.
Gabe doesn't care if you have the ball. He's pursuing you with full force.
My name Gabe Harris. I hunt.
Yeah.
That's what I do. No smiles on Gabe Harris. I'm taking a peek.
You taking a peek at?
We're still doing this?
Yeah, Saturday night I'm going to be taking a hard peek.
How hard of a peek?
Oh, Stern. Good long peek.
All right.
Good long peek. Georgia Tech, Georgia State. Saturday night, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Inside Bobby Dad.
This will be the and I honestly, for obvious reasons, I hope Georgia State wins this game. Well, one, I almost went there. So I have
that's right.
I have a connection.
Big Sean Elliott guy.
Yeah. Secondly, it will be so much fun to watch Georgia fans build up Georgia Tech this year after the first week to a point where people were looking around like the true Georgia fans like, hey, don't do that. You never cheer for Georgia Tech. For everyone to then laugh and be like, you just lost to Georgia State. I don't think it's going to happen. But to see the entire Georgia fan base kind of build Tech, I'm like, hey, good job, little brother. You beat the team we beat by 60-3 this year. Good job. Hey, very nice. Then for them to lose to Georgia State would be so funny, and there would be so much shit talking for the fan base. You would then see the rivalry become back then. Because there's nothing more fun for a Georgia fan than to laugh at Georgia Tech.
What a fall from grace that would be.
Exactly.
Yeah. You think there's any chance this is sold out?
Where is it at Georgia Tech?
Uh-huh.
I think it could be.
Could be.
I mean, the Georgia State fans.
I mean, look.
Are there Georgia State fans? I mean, other than you.
Yeah, not really, no.
The students.
I got buddies that went
students
to state.
would travel.
State football fans.
Yeah.
Students would travel. Why not? It's right down the road.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I guess.
Why not go to a football game?
They do have a lot of students
Plus,
that live there.
Tech fans going to be riding high after that victory last weekend.
Yeah, first home game after a top 10 win.
I will say this, having been on the field during that game last year at Georgia Tech, that fan base, or at least the student section,
they're menaces.
Sneaky good.
They're menaces.
Yeah, they're very involved in those football games. So
they were chirping us.
Little night game inside Bobby Died. Them shits ain't been lit since Georgia been in town.
That's right.
Do we have anything else?
I don't think so.
I don't reckon so.
One bold prediction for game.
I got something. I got something to read too after that.
Oh, you got something to read?
Yeah, I got. Is it top 5? No, it is top 5.
Okay.
I got top 5 for you.
What do you got? You got top 5 Chucks?
I got top 5 Chuck Martin shout outs from the comment section.
Top 5 Chuck Martin looks like. What do you got for me?
All right, number 1. Chuck Martin spends NIL money on a fullback.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Chuck Martin, number 2. Chuck Martin looks like Ryan Day in 5 years.
Oh,
dang! That's
Ryan Day wouldn't let it recede and go great like that.
5 years. 5 years is a little quick, but maybe.
No way.
Number 3. Chuck Martin is the reason why God created the middle finger.
Damn!
Wow!
Damn!
I don't think Chuck Martin deserves that kind of hatred.
Chuck Martin
don't know nothing about Chuck.
Chuck Martin is not about to be a friend of the show.
Number 2. Chuck Martin loves to shut the fridge with his right hip.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta shut the fridge.
After getting a bunch of leftovers.
When you got some snacks in your hand, bro.
But he enjoys it.
You gotta give it a good bump.
He enjoys doing it. And then number 1, when a car salesman is selling you a truck, he smacks the roof and says, "Do you know how many Chuck Martins you could fit in this thing?"
How many?
A good 7 Chuck Martins.
Is it over under 7?
You can put a good 7 Chuck Martins in this SUV right here.
Yeah. So that was my top 5. Thought that was a good fun segment to close.
All right, give me one bold prediction about this football game on Saturday.
I don't know if this is necessarily be about the game, but Georgia fans will be shitting a brick at some point, freaking out.
I like that.
I almost feel like you want that to happen.
It's not that I want it to happen. I know this fan base very well, and I have a very high confidence as to how this game's going to play out. This is not a jump on them quick and beat the shit out of them type game, I don't think.
Georgia has 6 plays of 20 yards or more and 2 plays of 40 plus.
Wow.
I like it. Dude, wait, you realize tomorrow will be our last show before a Georgia football game?
Yeah, that's how the schedule works.
All right, I'm trying to get everyone excited here.
That's how the calendar works, buddy. It's mid-August, late August. Hey, I had to give you some shit at some point tonight.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know what my bold prediction is.
And then I give you shit, and this guy does this on live air. I don't know.
See, now he's giving you the shit.
Georgia forces 2 turnovers.
That's real bold, man.
Man, all right, look, you threw it on the fly.
Fight
You guys
back,
went first.
Jay will fight back. Don't let him do you like
You
that.
asked me to think
No.
on my feet on live television. How dare you ask me to do my job?
Because now if I have to do one, I'm going to get way too hot and way too bold. And I'm doing the complete opposite.
And then he's going to be like, Jay, well, what the hell, dude? Be reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't like Michael Williams 3 sacks. You can't just like say something
That's
like
bold?
off cuff.
3
sacks in one game when the man's had 4.5 in a single season. Yeah, that would be bold.
Okay. Michael Williams has 3 sacks in a football game.
Nice.
Damn, you let him give you takes like that?
We'll see tomorrow. I know I'll be here. I don't know if these two will be.
Oh my gosh.
Damn.
Shout out to Better.
He's just cooking us tonight, I guess.